Good evening, and welcome to the public hearing for the Livingston Zoning Board of Adjustment. Today is December 9th, 2025. If you're an applicant for a D or use variance, you should be aware that such a variance can only be granted after showing that special reasons for the grant of the variance exists, and the variance can be granted without substantial detriment to the zoning plan of the Township of Livingston. You should also be aware that in order to be granted such a variance, you will require an affirmative vote of 5 members of the 7-member Board of Adjustment. Other variances require a majority of 4 members to grant that variance. If you're an applicant for any variance and your variance is denied by this board, you have a right to appeal to the Superior Court of the State of New Jersey within 45 days of notice of decision, and that court may overturn the decision of this board. If you are an objector to any type of variance that has been granted, you too may appeal to the Superior Court of the State of New Jersey within 45 days of notice of decision. If you do file an appeal, I ask that you please provide a copy of the complaint to the Planning Administrator, Jackie Hollis. Pursuant to the requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act, also known as the Sunshine Law, adequate notice of this meeting was provided to the Star Ledger and Westchester Tribune, and a copy was also posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building. In addition to having notice posted, notice of this meeting was placed on the Township's website. Members of the public will have an opportunity to ask questions or to make statements regarding each application at the appropriate time. When the time comes, if you would like to address the board, please come to the front and use the microphone so we make sure your comments or questions are part of the record. We will now call the roll.
Mr. Horn?
Here.
Mr. Shah?
Here.
Mr. Sherman?
Here.
Ms. Yuan?
Here.
Mr. Weissman?
Here.
Ms. Khan is here. Mr. Beer?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. If anyone is here for the application 77 North Livingston Avenue, that's application 2025-72-V, that is adjourned to January 27th of next year. So you can, if you're here for that, you're welcome to stay. If not, you can go home. So please call our next applicant.
Block 401, Lot 53, 8 Hartstone Terrace, application number 2025-35-V, Adam and Jan Brenner. Applicant seeks approval to construct a retaining wall and in-ground pool and spa in violation of the following sections. 170-96A8F, swimming pool rear yard setback, 25 feet required, 17.8 feet proposed, 2.2 feet variance requested. 170-96A8F, swimming pool side yard setback, 20 feet required, 14.4 feet proposed, existing, 5.6 feet variance requested. 170-72C, 5C, retaining wall, 5 feet required, 1 foot proposed, existing, 4-foot variance requested.
Welcome back.
Thank you, Chairman. Richard Stolick, excuse me, on behalf of the applicants, Adam and Jan Brenner. I have Ms. Brenner here, Marty, Hartstone.
Mr. Skolnick, you just got to turn on the mic.
Thank you. This is a case in which a small portion of a pool, very small portion of a spa, and a portion of a 3-foot retaining wall were installed a few feet off from their approved plans. So there are some variances required. We were here on June 11th and August 26th for some hearings. There was an issue with the voting membership at that August 26th hearing, so we're really starting from scratch. As Ms. Khan mentioned, there's 3 variances. It's a 7-square-foot portion of the spa, 7 square feet, 73 square feet of the pool is in the setback area, and then a portion of the 3-foot retaining wall. Based on the June and August hearings, it did not seem like the encroachments for the pool and the spa were the main focuses of the board's concern, but they're relevant. We do need relief from those. There is a little bit of a post that encroaches onto the neighbor's property a couple inches. We're going to have to remove that. That's going to come off. The 3-foot wall, it can be moved. It can be moved. My client will move the wall if that's the board's preference. We're going to go through some photos that have the setbacks. We don't think it is going to really benefit anybody, excuse me. The wall where it is versus a complying wall is not going to help the neighbor. I'm going to put the neighbor on. She's here. She testified. Because of the grade and the very significant buffering, Also, due to the fact that moving the wall would be quite an expense, we're going to request relief from the board. So, Chairman, with that, I'm going to have Ms. Brenner just say a couple of words, and then we have our civil engineer, who's also a planner. We're going to do a little condensed version, but we want to acclimate. We have some new members here. I don't know if they've heard one or both of the previous hearings, but we're going to sort of assume, at least for the record, that we're starting from scratch, if that's okay.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Okay?
So, Ms.
Quick
Brenner,
sworn.
you swear affirm and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
Yes, I do. Thank
Okay, you got to bring the mic closer to you.
you. Yes, I do. Thank you.
Okay, can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Jan Wiener Brenner, Janbrenner.
Okay, and you're the owner of the property, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, Ms. Skolnick?
Okay, Ms. Brenner, you want to just talk about what happened here and say a couple of words to the board before we get started on the technical side?
Sure. So first of all, thank you all for being here tonight. I know this is a very cold and windy night to be out, and you're away from your family, so thank you for taking the time to hear us out on the third occasion? Third occasion. So with that, thank you. So this is, a series of errors and issues happened with this build. This is my first experience ever doing something like this. So this, it looks like, I don't want anyone to think that we came into town and we kind of just threw the rules by the wayside and just decided to do what we wanted or pleased with things. It's more of an issue of we hired somebody that came really well, recommended to us from people in town, had done other builds, and we trusted them with this project, and we trusted them to make decisions that were in line with this project. And unfortunately, that is not the case of what happened, and that's why we're here today. And not putting the blame on the contractor or anything, in the end, it's on us, and it's something that we have to deal with, and we absolutely will deal with. But, it was not something that was done on blatant disregard, and that's just something I want, to color that in. Secondly, I just wanted to have a pool for my two kids who are 4 and 7, but, that's besides the point. We came here last time and my neighbor stood up and said, that it wasn't an issue for her and that we have, grading, we have trees that block between the two properties, sound wasn't an issue. The wall is, violating, what is the word?
Setback.
The setback, principles. And while, we can move it, some issues have arisen, the stone is discontinued. And it will also, I'm not a structural engineer, I'm not an architect or anything, but it will impact, I believe, the way the drainage of the pool will also be impacted. I'm not sure how or what to resolve that, but that is a factor of us moving the wall. And also it's, a big undertaking, I believe. It's a cement wall. So with that said, if we have to do it, we'll have to, but there is that post there, and if that post, I think, is infringing on the property line, if that's something that, the town may look to perhaps be a compromise or something that we could do to make everybody happy, we are certainly happy to do that. And we're open to anything you guys suggest, too, that might be an appropriate compromise to help us out here. So, and we hate even being in this position. I'm the biggest rule follower on earth, so this is embarrassing to me that I'm even doing this. So with that said, thank you for hearing us out.
Okay, if the board thinks it makes sense, you can move the wall, and to get that out, that would eliminate one of the variances.
Yes.
Okay, Chairman, that's it with this witness.
Great, thank you. Does anyone on the board have any questions for this witness? Please.
And Mr. Wenzel, if you could cut me off if I'm being inappropriate in any way. Just out of curiosity, because I think of a solution here for a lot of the problems, and it sounds like your neighbor is in support of this. So I'm not giving legal advice, that's why I want Mr. Wenzel to overrule me. I would think that typically you'd approach the neighbor for some sort of easement or lot split or something to add a few more feet so that this board doesn't even need to be in the middle of this. That would certainly make, me happier that everyone gets what they want, and if the neighbor, so I just wanted to put that out there. What's the story on that?
Then we need a subdivision approval to swap the property. Hold that thought, because when we show you the pictures, just, adjusting a lot line like that to do it, it's not gonna make any practical difference, in my view. This is to eliminate.
You wouldn't need adjustments, and, it might just be an easement even. It could, maybe. Again, I'm not the lawyer on this, I'm just thinking it could solve everything and keep us within compliance of law. So I just want to see what's being considered, since we're being asked to rectify what seems like, unfortunately, is already an existing problem as opposed to just plans.
It is. We had talked about, at some point, a lot line adjustment to try to do it. I don't know if an easement would
I'm not sure.
solve the problem, but it's a good thought, but I don't think it would have any practical effect, because the land between the two parts, there's a grade and a lot of trees. We'll bring you back into it. So changing the lot line would perhaps technically solve the issue, but from a land use standpoint, it's not gonna make any difference, I don't think. So you may say that's relevant, but I'm gonna say, practically speaking, going through the exercise of seeking a subdivision approval and having the engineer draw up all those lines, even if the neighbor doesn't care, I'll proffer, and you're gonna hear from her. She doesn't have a problem with a 3-foot wall. It's just a slight portion of this wall in that setback area. Let us go through it, if you'll hold the thought, if you don't mind.
Does anybody else on the board have any questions for this witness? Does anybody in the public have any questions for this witness? Back to you, sir.
Okay, we're gonna call Mike Roth, an expert in civil engineering. You can go back.
I believe. Thank you.
If I could have him sworn.
All right, Mr. Roth, do you swear affirm to tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
Yes, I do.
All right, and Mr. Roth, can we have Mr. Roth's qualifications on briefly?
Michael Roth. I've designed and managed several projects throughout the state, just like the one I'll be going through tonight. Graduated with a bachelor's degree of science and civil engineering from NJIT. License PE and PP in this state. Both my licenses are in good standing. Appeared before over 55 different land use boards throughout the state. Look forward to presenting tonight.
Does anyone on the board have any questions or objections regarding this witness? There be no objection, the witness is accepted as expert in, we're just doing engineering? Or planning, or engineering and planning, okay.
Okay, so Mike, you prepared some plans, and we had done some exhibits on this. Can you sort of run through where the spa encroachment is, the pool encroachment, and the wall, and then we'll go to that third sheet whenever you're ready.
Yes,
So these are the plans that are on file?
Correct, yeah, so the plans that are before you on each screen is sheet 1 of 2, which is the site plan sheet from the submitted plans with the revision date of April 14, 2025. The right view shows the conditions that were built. I'm going to zoom into that so we could see what the relief is that we're requesting.
Mr. Skolnick, other than the color, this is what was submitted to the board?
I think we submitted it with color.
We did submit it
Okay.
with color, yeah.
There we go, even better. Mr. Skolnick, can you just move the mic?
For me. Okay. So Mike, in my opening statement, I called out about 7 square feet of the spa, and that's backing up to the school property in the back?
Correct, yeah, and I'll run through each item. So we have the constructed pool is located 14.4 feet from the west side property line and 19.8 feet from the north rear property line, where the minimum requirement is 20 feet. The constructed spa is set back 17.8 feet from the north rear property line, where the minimum requirement is 20 feet. So those are the two variances. The first two I'll say. And the pool setback line on this plan is shown by the blue dash line, and the hatched blue areas are the areas that don't comply with the setback. So again, we're talking about 7 square feet for the spa and approximately 73 square feet for the pool. Those blue hatched areas do not comply. Next, for the constructed wall, the constructed wall is located 1 foot off the subject property line. We're proposing to remove that encroachment. The minimum requirement is 5 feet. So the dash line, the dashed red line is the 5-foot setback, and the hatched red area is the area that doesn't comply. So we have.
So that's an installed 3-foot wall over there, and we got sort of that triangular, the not the hypotenuse, but the two legs of the wall are not supposed to be in the 5-foot setback area.
Correct, yeah, that red hatched area, which equates to, what I'll say is a minor 80 square feet.
Of 80 square feet, okay.
80 square feet of wall and patio. So you got about 29 feet in this direction and about 10 feet in the other direction.
Okay, can you go to that third slide there with the exhibit?
Sure.
If we can go just right into that.
So we prepared two different exhibits that we kind of look at in conjunction. We have an aerial map which shows the subject property outlined in red, the surrounding properties, and we look at that in conjunction with site photographs.
We'll have to mark these, I think, since we're starting from scratch here.
So so Mr. Roth, if you go back to that one, the aerial will mark as Exhibit A1.
Yes.
And then, Mr. Roth, if you flip over to the other image you're going to show, we'll mark that as Exhibit 2, which is arguably a photo of the backyard. You can be
Yeah.
more descriptive, but.
Right, yeah, we'll say Exhibit A2 is a site photograph package. It's five photographs within that.
Okay, very good.
Within that packet. So I'll flip back to the aerial map. So the common property line that's the focus of the discussion tonight is that western property line where the adjacent property is 10 Hardstone Terrace, which is the property here on the left. So I'm just gonna kind of walk you through the photographs. Right now, we're looking northwest along that common property line. You can see the existing landscape buffer there.
That's a pretty dense buffer you got there.
Absolutely. And then we're gonna get a little close, now we're in the backyard. Same kind of view looking northwest along that common property line. And what we did with this photograph is, as you can see, the constructed pool and patio are on the right side. We have an existing fence, and then this very well buffered area along the fence. This page 3 of 5 here, what we done was superimpose the property line in red, and the 5-foot setback is shown in green here. And by doing this, you really see the visual impact, and there really is no impact to the adjacent property based upon the topographic grade change between the two properties and the fact that it's extremely well buffered along that common property line.
So let's just run through this. You have this marking 29.1 feet and 9.8 feet. That's the portion of the 3-foot wall that's causing the need for that variance.
Correct, that's the portion that doesn't comply, correct.
Okay. And you heard Ms. Brenner say, look, it can be moved, they're willing to move it, but is it really gonna do anything from a practical land use standpoint to help out the neighbor, given the grade change in the buffer? I think that's sort of the question that I'll pose to you as a planner.
Sure, yeah.
Do you see any detriment here to the public good, which our courts have said is the neighbor's property?
Right, so yeah, I see that there is none. You know, by moving the wall, nothing changes with this existing landscape buffer, it's gonna remain the same. So the fact it's there today, it works well, it screens the neighbor's property. I see virtually no detriment to the adjacent lot.
Okay, so, you know, and in essence, we're saying this is a de minimis or virtually no detriment sort of case. Even if we could move that 3-foot wall, it could be torn up.
Yeah.
And it could be placed on the green line, that would comply, right?
Correct.
That 5-foot setback, it's only a portion of the 3-foot wall. If it was picked up and moved and placed on the green line, we'd eliminate that variance.
That's correct.
Can I interrupt just for point of clarification on the picture, because I'm confused?
Sure.
Otherwise, I know it's not the question time. Because, yeah, I see the property line in red, but you have the fence, and you need a pool fence that the property owner puts. Are you saying there's no fence, and that's the neighbor's fence on the left?
I'm not sure it's fenced, but there's an agreement between the neighbors. Livingston has some rules and regulations about sort of sharing pool fences.
Okay, so this is a sharing of a pool fence situation?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to
Yeah.
make sure I was understanding
Yeah,
the picture correctly.
yeah.
Okay.
And so you can't really make out the grade change, but what would you say it is, Matt?
Yeah, so, well, actually,
Mike.
if we flip to sheet 4, you could see even better by this plan. I mean, you have the 3-foot wall, the neighbor, there's a boulder wall on the other property. I mean, we didn't shoot, the top of the tree, obviously, but I would estimate it could be close to 18 feet plus or minus. You're talking about a pretty.
18 feet?
From the patio, from the patio to the top of those existing trees.
Right, so from the neighbor's standpoint, they can't even see in here.
Yeah.
At all, so.
They can't see it now. If you move the wall, they're not gonna be able to see it either.
Yeah, that's why, maybe we didn't do such a good job explaining this at the previous hearings. We had this better exhibit when we were here in August, but you got a pretty severe grade change.
Correct.
And then you got a rock wall on top of that.
Yeah,
And then you got a lot of trees up there.
that's correct.
So, from the neighbors, if the pool and the spa and this was complying, would it impact their view, their quality of life, the aesthetics of anything from the neighbor's standpoint?
No, I would say it has virtually no impact.
Okay, and in terms of if we look at this from the C2
Sure.
criteria, we do have some aesthetic benefits of the overall project. If you were testifying, not because it's as-built already, but if they were starting, can you just talk about that in terms of
Yeah, I
how
would
you
say
look at it from the planning standpoint?
Sure. Yeah, I would say from a C2 variance, it does offer some positives. It advances purposes of the MLUL. I would say purpose A and I. Obviously, the owner has developed this very beautiful backyard area to advance purpose I. We do have stormwater management on site to mitigate for the increase in impervious coverage. This backyard design is very common for homes in the neighborhood. If you flip back to A1, you could see there's neighboring properties that have pool patios that take up, a large portion of their backyard. So I would say it's in character with the neighborhood as well.
Okay, if you balance those aesthetic and related benefits versus the detriments, do you have an opinion on whether we outweigh here?
Yeah, I would say the benefits definitely outweigh any detriment for the project. And I will note that the township stormwater requirement is actually quite high in compared to other towns. We have a drywall designed for the 25-year storm, which we're talking about 6 inches of runoff. So we feel that we're mitigating the project based upon that stormwater management system.
So some additional benefit.
Sure.
Compared. So, Chairman, that's most of it. I know, some of the members have heard it's not that complicated of a case, but our core argument is really that this is a no detriment or virtually no detriment. Even if we were starting from scratch and it wasn't built. And we appreciate the very difficult position that this puts the board in. We understand that. I've had a few cases now. These are all quite difficult for you because you're faced with something that was built and something happened here. But we're here to try to make it right and correct it and go about it in the right way. But I think that the 7 square feet for the spa, the 73 square feet for the pool, and a portion of a 3-foot retaining wall, really imperceptible to the neighbor. So I sort of done my summation, but I still have another witness to call, and certainly got to open it up.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for this witness?
I do. So you referred to it earlier that there's a post that is on the neighbor's property. Can you show us where that post is? I was able to figure that out.
So it's on the, do you see my cursor?
Nope.
You know what I could do?
Between the two,
The back right corner.
windows, like, the fur farm door.
Okay.
So that red circle represents that corner post that's encroaching by approximately 1 foot. We're gonna remove that. We're not gonna propose any encroachment onto the neighbor's property. So that will be rebuilt to comply and be on the subject property.
Okay, thank you.
A follow-up on that then, so when you remove the post, does that give us any room? Is it, 3 inches, 6 inches, 9 inches from the property line when that's gone, if you're removing it?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get the property line staked out, so it'd be entirely on the subject property. You know, I'll discuss with the owner, probably should get some sort of factor of safety and be a few inches or, you know, whatever the board feels comfortable with being off the subject property.
What can you kind of guarantee if you move the post? So we kind of have a number, otherwise I don't think anyone will be able to, if you want to spend 2 minutes and think about that for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works out, but I don't know how that,
If we
to
could
see how
pro-
much it helps.
We could propose it to be, you know, I think a reasonable, for construction tolerance, we could say it's 3 inches off the common property line and on the subject property owner's land.
Does anybody have any further questions? Go ahead,
Yes, I do. Can I,
please.
based, going back to my colleague's question about the fence on a westerly side, according to the letter that I read from township engineer, that fence is yours, but it is encroaching into the neighbor's property. So what is your plan to relocate that?
I think we have approval already. The township has some separate regulations for how you deal with common fences, and we submitted some letters. So I'm going to suggest it's not really a zoning issue, it's a safety and construction code issue, and I think we're okay with that. We submitted some letters along the way.
So let me say this, Mr. Shaw, you know, your engineering department is the one that would ensure that anything along the lines of code enforcement with regard to the placement of a fence, use of fence, whether it's common usage or used by one property, the engineering department would be the one to handle that. It's not part of the zoning package per se, but obviously it's there, so, you know, it's a valid question about it. But in terms of the fence, the applicant, regardless of anything that happens tonight, the applicant would need to comply with the town code with regard to fences.
Ms. Walk, the neighbor, she whispered that it's her fence. But I think there's an agreement in place, and you have to have that because you have to ensure that it gets maintained. If you have the pool, my clients have to make sure that fence gets maintained. I think that's sort of how we have the rules around that area.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to note, because from the March 24th, this denial letter was, I guess it wasn't in place at that time, just from,
That is correct.
okay, so it was after that, after Ms. Gonzalez's denial letter, I guess it's,
That we submitted those letters.
right, so you submitted affidavits, or probably affidavits or something
Yeah,
later.
some sort of agreement. I
Agreement
recall
or
submitting it.
something.
The time has passed a
Okay.
little bit. It's been a bit of time, but that's in.
Question. I know you mentioned, in your planning, you mentioned the MLUL, I think you said Purpose A and Purpose I. Can you just reiterate what those are, just on the record?
Yeah, purpose A, to encourage and guide the appropriate use of land where we are improving an existing single-family dwelling that's permitted use in the R2 zone. Purpose I, to promote a desirable visual environment through improvements, which creates a very scenic and nice backyard area with beautiful pool and patio, which meets today's standards for modern families' desire and is covered from the adjacent property. It also includes stormwater management to mitigate for the increase in impervious coverage.
Okay, just as a follow-up, wouldn't those two purposes still be met even if everything was built as it was supposed to be? Like, it's not that doing this further gives some benefit, you would still have all those benefits even if everything was built as it was supposed to have been built, correct?
Not sure if I understand your question.
The backyard would still be a nice backyard with a
But
pool,
we-
with the whatever, the variance that they're asking for isn't furthered by this. They would still have that even if the wall was moved or the.
Let me put it this way. The way the applicant presents any application is about what they're attempting to do with regard to the proposal, not what else they could do, right? So it's not well, I could do this or that. It's what the applicant is proposing to you to say, what I'm showing you, and you have an expert who's rendering their opinion as to whether or not it meets the standards of a C2 variance. Remember, C2 variance is the flexible variance. It's not the hardship variance. It is the flexible variance, which is, in essence, their obligation as the applicant to explain to you why they think that this particular proposal, as opposed to not to measure it against another type of proposal, but to say why this proposal meets those standards. So, it's not about, well, if you could do this, doesn't it do the same thing? That's not really the standard, because then nobody would come in for a variance, right? It's about, when you have variances in front of you, it's about whether or not it's a substantial detriment. It's not just a detriment. Every variance is, by its very nature, some deviation from the code. The question is, do you feel that this is substantial, or whether or not you agree with Mr. Roth's opinion and Mr. Skolnick's argument about what is, in essence, I'm not looking to put words into Mr. Skolnick's mouth, but in essence, what he's trying to articulate as being sort of a, not de minimis, but a minor deviation which is of no consequence to the neighbor whose property is being
Mr. Sherman,
encroached upon.
I think what our courts have said is you have to look at the whole project on a C2. So I think you're sort of conflating a concept that's out there on a C1, the could comply argument. We're not arguing you couldn't have compliance here, right? Because you could always make the wall could be pulled back, the pool could have been smaller. We could comply. We're not saying there was a unique condition that drives the need. So on the C2, our courts have instructed, look at the whole project. We're saying that the negatives here are virtually zero. I could say that, right? The neighbor, and we're going to have testimony, I'm proffering it, the neighbor's, I think, going to say whether they comply or what you have causes me zero harm. That's our biggest indicator, because we're here to protect the neighbors from each other. That's the biggest. So what we need in the benefits, since we're doing a weighing, doesn't have to be that high. But and that's our argument for your consideration tonight, that it's really, really low on the negatives. So the positives, as long as there's at least a little bit, we're not saying this changes the world, but you have to look at the project as a whole, and it is beautiful. I don't think anybody would dispute that. It's a very nice backyard, appropriate, consistent with what's happening in Livingston.
I have a comment. Not to drag this out any longer, but I do appreciate all the testimony. But my comment is, I actually, and correct me if I'm wrong, I actually look at this more as a C2 variance, and I don't really necessarily even see a hardship.
Yeah, that's what
So I think, but you are asking for both, so to me, no, there's, no, it's only C, oh, I thought it
just
was-
offered-
oh, it's only
we just
C2,
offered on
okay.
C2
Okay,
grants.
because I thought it was both, all right, then forget it, then C2 it is. Okay.
Does anybody
We're
else,
not that outrageous. We won't go crazy here and try to pitch a seat.
does anybody else on the board have any, please?
Yeah, going back to the aesthetic benefit, first, I always think of aesthetic benefit like to the community, so usually I think of what the public sees. Here, we're talking about something in the back. Would that
It's
be
not-
common?
No, people do stuff on their property for themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not, you don't, it's a community benefit in the sense that it is something that is in the, like nobody, I'm sure the Brenners would love to have everybody in Livingston come over and use their pool, but I don't think they want to do that. But I think what these type of applications, these C2 applications normally do is to say that this is something in line with the general ideas of the municipal land use law for the betterment, enhancement of property, the betterment and enhancement of property, especially in the township of Livingston, that it matches up with, I think Mr. Roth indicated, the character of the neighborhood, other pools and other homes that have pools in the area. So it's not just, it's not like a personal taste. You know, it's not like a choice between a Picasso and a Matisse. It's saying, you know, just generally, is this something that is that's appropriate for the character of the neighborhood, if that's more helpful.
It's tricky, Mr. Weissman, right? The legislature has given us these categories. I call them buckets. And we try to fit our planning arguments into the C1 bucket or the C2. But every residential C2 is, you know, for the property owner, I think. But in those purposes of zoning, they said, look, aesthetics and appropriate places for people to live are beneficial to our society. And we're in Livingston, New Jersey here, a place where people build very nice homes, and we like living in that community, and we're saying that that benefits everybody by having investment and people desiring to live here and building a nice house. And the legislature says nice aesthetics for homes is one of the benefits. The categories aren't perfect, but we gotta work with them, right? You're a board that gives out variances. We do our best to make these arguments into these semi-artificial categories.
Can I follow up? No, I'm probably going to get yelled at by Mr. Wenzel, because...
Eventually you will,
Because
but yes.
Mr. Sherman did. So going back to his point, like, I feel like we should be looking at the plans, and Mr. Sherman addressed that if we were looking at plans and you said one's in compliance, and then there's these sets of plans before it was built, and we looked at these sets of plans, Mr. Sherman would have said, I don't like this set of plans because I feel like we're going to get the same aesthetics if we were also looking at plans. I know it's going to get jumped. I'm trying to assess. I'm just trying to assess whether that you're asking us to make a judgment based upon the fact that it's because it was built. If that's what you're asking, or two, if you gave us two sets of plans, say, look, we don't want to build it where it is. Like, forgetting if it wasn't built, we're going to improve the property. I think this is to Mr. Wenzel's point, that if we want to put it here and we think it's going to improve, and then Mr. Sherman says, well, if you put it, it doesn't matter. We're going to improve it. This is where we want to do it, and we think that we've met the test. Is that what you're asking?
I can't
So that's what
come
I'm
in front-
trying to understand. Again, I'm trying, and I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm trying to come up with the legal rationale to give
Okay,
your client what
I'll
they
offer.
want.
I can't say because it was built, you have to approve it. I can't.
No, I'm not
I
saying
can't-
have to, but I'm-
I can't do that. I'm saying that something happened here that was unfortunate. The client's taken responsibility. They've incurred substantial legal fees, engineering fees. They're willing to make some changes, but the detriment here, whether it was built or not, the detriment is really zero. And I think that's what the immediate neighbor is going to tell you. There's zero, this is really a zero detriment case. Yes, a technical violation of your setbacks, but with no harm, absolutely no harm to, harmless error, you might call it. So that's what we're asking you to consider. Something happened, the negatives, because the C2 says do the balancing in broad terms. Balance the positives and negatives, and we're saying whether we came to you, at the start or now after it was constructed, that it's really on a scale of 1 to 100, it's a 0 or 1 in terms of detriment to the public good, and our courts say that means to the neighbor.
Well, hold on, just before we just go on to this too far. I know you're gonna put the neighbor on, but, I mean, even anything like that I've read, the court also says that approval on a C2, it must actually benefit the community, which I don't see where that is, and if it only solely benefits the plaintiff, you're right, the applicant in this case, which, I mean, this solely benefits the applicant. It doesn't benefit the community, it doesn't benefit anybody else, and again, I'm not, we discussed this in the past, I know we're doing this again. The pool spa was one thing, the wall, which we always keep coming back to, is also another. And I don't see how that wouldn't negatively impact zoning. I understand the neighbor says it's fine, but it's something that would affect.
We said we would.
Excuse me,
move
can
the-
we hear from the neighbor? Can we just move things along a little bit? Maybe we can hear from the neighbor, and then we can have a conversation, but I feel like we're just going around in circles. So why don't we hear, and then we can have a conversation, okay? Thank you very much.
I think you need to get sworn
All right.
in.
Do you swear affirm and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
I do.
Okay, can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Nancy Wolk, Nancy Wolk.
W-O-L.
Wolk.
Thank you, ma'am. Go ahead.
Thank you for allowing me, the neighbor, to show up again. The first thing I want to clarify is that fence was my fence, and the Brenners reached out to us and asked if they could share the fence with us because it would seem goofy to have two fences smack up against each other, and we were happy to do that. I was actually thrilled because our fences match now, which is aesthetically pleasing. So what you see there is my fence and a lot of arborvitae trees. When we built our pool about 18 years ago, we intentionally planted a ton of very big trees because we wanted a buffer. The good news is we got the buffer. The better news is I have no idea what's going on in the Brenner's yard. So I didn't know there was an issue with the wall. I didn't know there was a post until I saw a little red circle tonight. This is all news to me. I honestly feel badly for the Brenners because I do believe that they followed what they were told. It did not work in their favor. We have zero issue with what's going on, and I realize there could be a bigger zoning issue, but it seems like what's going on in my yard and their yard is the predominant issue. So I'm happy to answer any questions or give additional information.
Can I ask you one question?
Sure.
Their project as a whole, do you think that helps the neighborhood? Taking
actually,
the
I'm
whole
glad you said
project
that.
as a whole, does that provide some benefit to the neighborhood by their investment in their house and in their backyard?
Absolutely. There is something I wanted to say, and I'm glad you just said that. We have had construction going on across the street from us for probably 9 months. I have had trucks blocking my driveway. I've had the most obnoxious workers across the street. It has been awful. And, I'm sorry? Don't put a pool. Well, I already have one, so. If they're forced to move that wall, we're going to need to endure additional construction that's going to impact our quality of life further because the house across the street is not done. The trucks are still ascending every day, and then we're going to have more trucks. So from a neighborly point of view, I don't really want more construction. I realize, it's not C2 approved, and I never knew about C2 until tonight, so thank you. But
It's your lucky day.
it is. I'm learning every day. So honestly, I would prefer that there not be more construction because it's just enough at this point. But I do appreciate what the Brenners have done, and I appreciate that all over Riker Hill, people are building beautiful homes. It's just sometimes, as a longtime resident, a lot when it's constant construction. So.
Would anybody on the board like to ask any questions of this witness?
No, I just have a comment.
Okay,
Can I make a comment?
we're good?
Does anyone in the public have any questions for this witness? Okay.
Okay, first of all, I just want to point out, Mr. Skolnick, that the reason I thought that it was C1 is because the declaration has a C1. So when I was copying C1, C2, so that's why I thought that. So I just
Okay.
wanted to point this out to
Okay,
you.
that was a-
So it wasn't me, because I was very careful when I copied from one to the other. So just so you know, I'm not losing my
We
mind.
abandoned the
Okay.
C1.
The
as we
second.
got closer with the
Okay,
experts,
okay. I give it to you. The second thing is, thank you so much for speaking. At this point, I feel like we've said everything that we possibly can say about this application. I don't think there's anything else to say about it. And I think that the backyard is beautiful. It's done. It enhances their property. It clearly enhanced the next-door neighbors. There's a lot of construction going on the street. There's, like I said, there's really nothing else that we can possibly add to this application. So, Mr. Chairman, I think that, with that being said, if anybody else has a comment, we might want to just put it to a vote.
Well, do you have anything else to close with?
No, I think I've made my points.
I would say, does anyone in the public want to make a statement?
Okay, we have to get you. sworn in.
Hi, good evening. Heather
Okay.
Goldstein from Cleary Geocobe. We represent the Board of Ed. We're not opposed to this in theory, but I just wanted to get on the record because there is a licensing agreement between the Brenners and the Board of Ed from August 12th, 2025, because there's some bushes and a fence that encroaches the Board of Ed's property. And I just wanted to get on the record that this won't encroach the Board of Ed's property anymore, and if that can be a condition of the resolution if it gets passed.
Okay, so Ms. Skolnick, you would agree as a condition of approval that your client will continue to work with the Board of Ed to ensure that that encroachment does not occur?
Of course,
Or that doesn't get
It doesn't,
worse,
no
'cause-
further
No
encroachment.
further
No further
encroachment.
encroachment.
there's no, correct.
Correct, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else in the public want to make any statements? Does anybody on the board want to make any statements?
Oh, I'm going to go off?
Would you like to say something?
No, I think he's just,
Okay, would anyone like to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion to approve. Let me just state before I say that, I think this is unfortunate circumstances that we're here having this conversation. And I'm sure, do it over again. If you ever build another house in Livingston, you might be a little bit more, cautious. It is a beautiful backyard. I don't see that it's a tremendous burden. Appreciate the statement from the neighbor. I'm also conscious of you may not live there for forever, so we have to take all the accounts in. So my motion would be to approve, subject to moving that post to within 3 inches of the property line.
Can we say no further back than the wall? So it doesn't extend behind the wall? So wherever you move the post, whatever you do with it, whatever you got for the wall, if we're not touching the wall, at least
Should
it
be on this
doesn't
side, like, even
protrude
to our
past
side of the
that,
sidewalk.
wherever that point is.
Yeah, I mean, I think it should be tied to the there should be a number tied to the property line, because we're gonna stake out that property line, and that's gonna be the magic line.
Well, you have a wall and a post.
Right.
Right, so if we remove the post and put it back, it shouldn't pass, wherever it goes, shouldn't pass that wall if we're kind of okay with the,
Yeah, from the back of the wall, that will work.
So line up to the wall.
is that,
Yes, Mr. Skolnick?
Yes, acceptable.
I knew he'd say that.
so those conditions are good then? Okay, yes.
with also the condition of approval we just discussed with the Board of Ed.
Yes.
Would anybody like to second the motion?
Okay, I'll second it. Okay, Mr. Horn?
Approved.
Okay, Ms. Khan votes yes. Mr. Shah?
Yes,
Mr. Sherman?
I'm really torn on this one. I'll say yes.
Mr. Weissman? Oh, wait, Ms. Yuan, I'm sorry.
Yes.
And Mr. Weissman?
Yeah, I'm torn here as well. I'm almost, I think you might have enough to pass, so it makes me happy from the homeowner, as a neighbor and a homeowner standpoint. I would hate to be in the homeowner's situation, so I have a lot of sympathy for the homeowner in this situation. So in a sense, I'm hoping it passes. My vote is going to be a no, just because of the, based upon the law, and I agree there's some benefit, but you need, it's not just about not having a detriment, it's about having the benefits being substantially better than this detriment, and if I was just looking at plans and it wasn't built, I just don't like the fact of if somebody says, this is really aesthetically pleasing, you should put it right up against it, my neighbor's property. I don't feel comfortably legally, although I'm happy, it looks like it's going to pass, but I'm going to vote no for those reasons.
Okay, Mr. Beer?
Like Mr. Sherman, I too am torn, but I'm going to vote yes.
Okay, passes.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
We appreciate your time. We appreciate the inordinate amount of time we ended up spending.
Happy New Year, we almost got there.
Thank you.
Okay. Block 1607, Lot 12, 12 Melrose Drive, application number 2025-74-V. Justin Cappuccino, applicant seeks approval for a two-tiered retaining wall in violation of the following sections. 170-91B2B, front yard fence, retaining wall height 4 feet allowed, 12.99 feet proposed, 8.99 feet variance requested. 170-91B 4B, rear yard fence, retaining wall height, 6 foot allowed, 12.99 proposed, 6.99 feet variance requested. 170-91B, 16 tiered retaining wall aggregate height, 10 feet allowed, 12.99 proposed, 2.99 variance requested.
Okay.
Hi there.
Hi.
Okay, so I assume you're Mr. Cappuccino?
I am.
Okay, and you're the owner of the property?
Yes.
Okay, besides yourself, I'm assuming you're going to have somebody else testify on your behalf?
Absolutely.
All right, so, okay, there you go. All right, will you be testifying at all? We'll swear you in.
Yeah, sure.
For the fun of it, okay. Is that your wife?
Yes.
Yes. Will your wife be testifying or just giving you moral support?
I'm not sure. You
All right,
may-
why don't we swear both of you in?
both in.
Why don't we swear both of you in? Sometimes wives will correct husbands. So let's raise our right hand. Do you swear affirm and tell the truth before the zoning board tonight? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So you're Mr. Cappuccino. And ma'am, can we just have your first name?
Christina,
Christina Cappuccino?
yes, Christina.
Okay. All right. And Mr. Cappuccino, you have somebody who's going to present for you tonight. Who's that going to be?
Yeah, Rick Vollmer is our engineer that's worked on the wall project, sitting right behind me.
Okay. And shall we call him up and
Yes.
let's start getting his testimony?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So you have an easel there, sir. I think it would be better if we moved it. Oh, come up on the screen. Okay. Very 21st century. So why don't we have you over at the podium? You got to come around this way unless you're a gymnast. Yeah, it'll all come up on the screen. Yeah, we have IT
The man
help with that.
behind the mirrors over
There
there.
is, yeah. All right, so when do we get you sworn in, sir? You're good, you don't have to touch anything. You're good. Do you swear affirm tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Yes, my name is Richard Volmar, V as in Victor, Ollmar.
All right, Mr. Volmar, you're going to be testifying tonight as a
Professional engineer, civil engineer.
professional engineer. All right, Mr. Volmer, excuse me. You are a licensed engineer in the state of New Jersey?
That's correct.
License is up to date and active, correct?
Yes, sir.
And education, where'd you go?
I Bachelor of Science, Master of Science, NJIT, licensed engineer since 1996, owner and founder of Blue Line Stone Home Engineer.
Okay, and then you've appeared before other boards and
Yes, I
presented
have.
testimony?
Yes, I have.
And been accepted as an expert, correct?
Yes.
Chairman?
Does anyone on the board have any questions or objections regarding this witness? There being no objections, the witness is accepted as expert in professional engineering.
The floor is yours, Mr. Volmer.
Okay. You can hear me?
You're perfect.
Okay, good. So what we have here is a two-tiered retaining wall in the backyard. The lot is a corner lot. So we're basically constrained by two front yard setbacks, which is why we have one of the variances. I should remark that originally, the applicant presented the plan, zoning application back in March or so. At that time, it was denied for height variant, it didn't meet the height ordinance, and but the benefit of that was that we were afforded some constructive criticism. At the time, we had proposed a 10-foot wall. What they're trying to do is maximize the benefit of their backyard, and a 10-foot wall, you know, is let's just say it's not as attractive as a two-tiered wall. It's not aesthetically pleasing, but it would have maximized the yard. So we were told that we could present that to the board if that was our preference, or we could go back to the proverbial drawing board and come up with a better plan. That better plan is what you see tonight. It also reflects the other comments that the zoning officer had, which was to separate the two walls by 8 feet, which is what we've done, and provide some greenery. In between. Why isn't this working? Oh, it doesn't work on there. How about that? Yeah, okay. So basically, here's the lower tier wall, and then this is the upper tier wall. Lower tier wall, maximum 6 feet, 6 feet exposed height. And the maximum height on this wall back here is 4 feet. I say exposed because obviously there's a little bit that's buried in the ground. And also on the upper tier wall, it slopes up. From the front of the wall to the back, it slopes up at a 4-to-1, which is, it's traversable. You can walk on it. It's not so steep that you couldn't walk on it. But that was provided to be able to basically push the wall back as far as possible and still be able to not affect the rear neighbor behind. That was really what drove this whole project, was the rear property line. So just to kind of jump back a little bit, there is an existing wall there now. It's about 4 feet high. It's a CMU block wall, not the most attractive wall. This is a modernized, updated, it's called modular block. You've seen them all throughout town. They have a decorative face, a chiseled rock look to them, as opposed to the sheer kind of bland CMU wall that's there now. So that wall is about 16 feet from the back of the house. So as you can see, the family is growing. So their objective is to increase the size of that backyard to make it usable, and make it basically a fair and reasonable use of their backyard. So what we've done, I think, is kind of listen to the commentary from the zoning officer. We've met those comments, and we've kind of arrived at a median where, yes, we do need a variance for height. I will submit that, you know, the way the code is written, it looks at the overall height from the bottom of this wall to the top of that. That's what gets us to 13 feet, which is why we're here. But the spirit of that ordinance, I would submit, is a 10-foot exposed face of wall, and that's what we have. We have 6-foot lower wall and a 4-foot upper wall, designed that way so that it doesn't look top-heavy, doesn't look like the upper wall is going to fall over on top of the bottom one. So again, back to the aesthetically pleasing aspect of it, we think we've met that. Right now, above this existing wall, it's steep. There's trees that they'll testify that they've already taken down because they were getting ready to fall on the house. So there was an unsafe condition, and it's also a lot of erosion, a lot of the mud. They've since planted some arborvitaes along here to sort of stem the tide of the erosion that's happening and flowing over the wall. But it's kind of a mess. The slope it's a mess. And we think that by providing this two-tiered system now, we kind of meet two objectives. Obviously, the safety of the trees will be eliminated because the trees are going to have to come down. And it stabilizes the slope. We'll no longer have this sheer face of dirt that is eroding onto their backyard. So we kind of meet two positive criteria there. It's a safety issue and also a drainage issue. To touch on the drainage, obviously, whenever you construct a wall, design a wall, you obviously want to make sure that you provide mechanism for the water behind the wall that's going to percolate into the ground to have relief. I've done that. There's, you probably know them as weep holes, but there's holes in the bottom of the wall, perforated pipe that collects all the water and allows it to drain out the front, so it releases any soil pressure on the back of the wall. That's how these are able to stand up. I've had this question in the past at some other boards about the water. How much water? Is it going to erode the property? The water that comes out of this pipe is best defined as a trickle. Even in like a heavy rain, it takes a long time for the water to perk down, get in that pipe, and then outlet. It comes out like, less than your gutter. It's not anything substantial that has any kind of velocity or erosive power. It just kind of, basically what it's there for is to release the wet soil pressure from behind the wall. So I've provided that as well in 2 points here and here. And what else can I say? I heard construction mentioned at the last project that you guys considered. With any project, you're obviously going to have construction. This project is actually, the overall impact of the site is calculated to be about 3,800 square feet. Anytime you're over 5,000 square feet, you have to take measures that address soil erosion control. We're not required to do that. However, we've done so anyway by providing the silt fence during construction. And right here is what's called a construction driveway. It's basically 2-inch to 1/2-inch stone that provides for the mud tracking that would otherwise occur. It keeps it from going on the road. So we've kind of gone beyond what we'd be required to do if we had to get a soil erosion control permit, but we've done it anyway because it makes good sense. It's good neighbor policy during construction. As you might expect, we are excavating a little bit. Here's the existing wall. Here's the dirt that's coming out. You might ask how much dirt is coming out. I've estimated it to be about 200 cubic yards, which translates to about a dozen truckloads. So over the course of a month that it's going to take to build this, you're talking about 12 truckloads that are going to have to carry the dirt away. I guess just to kind of sum it up, I'd like to point out, yes, with every variance, you have to present your case as to what is the hardship. This is a C1 variance. The hardship here basically is twofold. It's a corner lot, so we're kind of constrained more so than we would be. It's not consistent with the rest of the neighborhood. Obviously, the rest of the neighborhood doesn't have a front yard setback on two lot lines. But more importantly, it's the existing slope that's there. They didn't create, it's not a self-induced hardship request. The slope has always been there. And as evidenced by the fact that there is an existing wall there, we're just taking that wall and moving it back about 10 feet so that they can get a reasonable use of their yard. As you can probably see, there's still a good bit of yard that they're not going to be able to use, but we're dressing it up. It's aesthetically pleasing, the wall. We're adding vegetation on that mid-tier. And then at the top of it, of course, for safety, there's going to be a 4-foot fence as well. So that's my pitch.
Does anyone on the board have any questions for this witness? Why don't you go first then?
Yeah, the board was handed out five. I violated my own rule. The board was handed out 5 photographs on 5 pages, color photographs of the current conditions of the rear yard. So would you agree we'll mark this as Exhibit A? We'll give Ms. Hollis this set. And that is fair representation of what the current condition is, Mr. Vollmer?
Yes, sir. That one there tells the whole story. I mean, you can see those exposed roots. Matter of fact, the tree that used to be, there was, right, Justin, there was a couple trees.
It was leaning
that were already taken down. They were leaning. They've already been taken down. This is what was there, these exposed roots. Here's the arborvitaes that they planted to kind of control. Picture really doesn't do it justice. It's a hard climb for me when I'm stood on this wall and we were kind of eyeballing, you know, how far can we pull this wall back? It's pretty steep here. The upper wall, I think this tree, I don't remember if that has to go or not, but like I said, this pretty much shows the condition. I don't know if it gets the full flavor of how steep and ugly this is, but it is.
So, Mr. Vollmer, what you're showing there and going to your C1 proofs, what you're saying is because, and I think before you indicated that because the grade and the slope, of the severity of the grade and the slope, that the property owners don't have any other option other than to use a retaining wall system in order to gain backyard space.
Correct. If, the other option would be to have no wall and just grade it up at a reasonable, a 2-to-1 slope would be sustainable. However, we don't have that luxury. The backyard, that top of that cut would cut into the neighbor's yard. I don't think that they want us to do that. Obviously, can't do that.
Sorry, as we go through these photos, can you just scroll up to that last one? So that rock at the bottom of the wall, that's fresh. These rocks that you can see throughout all the 5 photos, they're randomly ending up in the backyard. The erosion is so bad that ultimately, like, we get these, and that rock doesn't look large. If that landed on any of us, it would be pretty damaging. That thing is way heavier than it looks, and that's one of the smaller ones. I mean, you can see in any of the photos, there's a real concern on the safety and the erosion on that slope, and that was kind of the thought process when we started thinking about how to fix this in the backyard. We're like, well, we're going to have to excavate a ton. We're going to have to take down a ton of trees. And, the idea was, if we're already going to be going through this massive project, might as well make it something that looks good. Again, this is on a corner lot. That's the best looking picture of our backyard that I've seen. So, we didn't do ourselves justice in terms of this argument. It is atrocious to look at if you're walking up Page and Melrose and you look to the left. It is not aesthetically pleasing for anyone that has to look at it. So yeah, absolutely, it's for us, but it is a massive eyesore for anyone that's on that corner. So the idea with this is it fixes, the erosion concern, it gets rid of all these exposed roots and puts up something that addresses the safety concern, but it's also good looking and pleasant to look at in a backyard, and we reclaim 10 feet for a backyard that can be a little more functional. When we bought this house, is at the height of kind of the housing craziness, and the developer, they're slapping these houses up, right? And one of the things they did is in the backyard, they basically, to clear some of the vegetation, they just basically cut off, it was just raw cut dirt in the backyard.
and it's just eroded and ended up in the backyard every time it rains heavily, and
That's,
so,
he's alluding to, this was a knockdown, this, that, the house that's there now is what, like 4 years old?
yeah.
Kind of
yeah,
like,
three,
so,
yeah.
yeah, so when they built this, they knocked the old one down, built this one, they kind of didn't really care too much about.
They did what they had to sell it, which was not much a few years ago, but the backyard has been an ongoing issue since we bought it.
Does anybody have any questions on the board?
I do. From looking at the cross sections, can you just please confirm if looking from the backyard neighbors, like when they stand by their property line, the top of the top layer wall, it's still like way down,
Correct.
right?
Yes,
Okay.
and not only that, off the back of the property, the grade still continues to go up. So that was, I'm glad you brought that up. It allows me to say that the neighbor behind him is not, there's no impact, kind of like the project before us, but they won't even see this wall. Now the neighbor, if you're facing their house, the neighbor to the left, they have a retaining wall in their backyard as well, right? It's their yard is a little bit bigger, but the point being that, we look to see, is it inconsistent with the neighborhood, within the character of the neighborhood? And I would submit that it is. There's the immediate neighbor right next door has a very similar wall. I mean, and you can go up and down the streets and see these walls all over the place.
I'll say this certainly makes sense, obviously, for your, the topographical issues you have. That's about probably your only solution, so I think it's a pretty good application.
I agree. I just have to say, when I drove by, I audibly gasped when I saw those roots. So I understand, I think we all understand why you're doing this, and I think this is really going to be a
Every
huge
morning
benefit.
I gasp. Every morning, that's how I start.
Right,
I look at the backyard and gasp.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hopefully.
It's a tremendous improvement, and it'll improve the quality of life for you and your family, and I think it'll be beautiful. And you won't have rocks pouring down into your backyard anymore. It'll be safe.
Hopefully. Does anybody else on the board have any questions?
First, I want to say, it looks great. I think you did a great job, and I want to say how much I appreciate you, one, coming up with a plan that keeps the 5-yard setback, as well as listening to the town, because it sounds like our town, was it the engineer, zoning official, had a great idea. I think this makes sense. And so I want to say how much I appreciate it. I agree. I drove by the property, so I think it's a great design. My question is, the trees, I think there might still be trees high above on the neighbor's property. Is that still going to be equally safe? That was the one concern I had of those trees, not as far as your neighbor's concern of them being looser or something and falling down on you. So that was my question.
So the short answer is, no, we can't impact their trees, their tree line, anything, their root system. So I would submit that we're not undermining anything close to their property. I would double check it, of course, once they get into construction. If there are some issues, we're gonna have to maybe work out an agreement with them to temporarily protect those trees, so that.
Till you backfill the dirt.
Yeah, because that's a great point, is this is the final condition, but we gotta remove dirt to get that geogrid. Geogrid is the horizontal mesh that lays in the dirt to give it its stability. So you kind of have to remove, and then put back. So, yeah, if the board feels so moved to make that a conditional approval that, during construction, the engineer, township engineer, and myself will be out there to just ensure that is preserved.
So we'll make it a condition of approval not to affect neighbor trees?
Yeah.
All right, does anybody else on the board have any questions? Does anybody in the public have any questions? And I'll just make a sidebar as a fellow civil engineer. Just be real careful with how far your geogrid goes back and everything, because obviously that's a bad slope, and that's.
Yeah. Well, okay,
Yeah.
so you'll love this. There's actually geogrid in the slope to, like above the wall, top of
Right,
the wall.
okay.
I've got it in the slope to stabilize the slope
Okay.
as well, so.
So
yeah.
you might have to go under the other wall,
Well,
or use lightweight fill maybe.
yeah, it's, well, it's the upper wall that I had the concern with.
Yeah, I wouldn't want you to lose it, slough it off below, and, yeah, you know,
Cool.
but I just wanted to,
Thank you, yeah.
just because I've seen it happen, and don't want to,
I thought you were gonna say that the geogrid goes underneath the property line and.
Oh, no.
Because I have another client that did that too.
oh, that's good. No, it's just, I've seen these walls, as you probably have, fail.
Yeah, they're
All of a sudden,
kinda
out of
cool to
nowhere.
watch it on YouTube.
Okay, does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Ms. Yan?
Yes.
Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Mr. Weissman?
Yes.
Ms. Khan votes yes. Mr. Beer?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
And obviously, good luck with the growing family.
Appreciate it, thank you.
All the good health. Please call the next application.
Block 1607, Lot 12, oh, I'm sorry, we just did that one, okay. Block 3400, Lot 1, 60, yeah, that's that. Block 3400, Lot 1, 68 Springbrook Road, application number 2025-86-V, Ramesh Jetty and Swetha Inturi. Applicant seeks approval to construct a new single-family house in violation of the following sections: 170-98C2, front yard setback, 50 feet required, 40 feet proposed, 10 feet variance requested. 170-87CC3, habitable floor area ratio, 21% allowed, 25.11% proposed, 4.11% variance requested.
Hi there.
Hello.
How are you?
So I assume you're Ramesh Jetty
Yes, Ham.
and Swetha Inturi. I came close. You're gonna be kind to me.
shrunk down. It's really hard to see.
Need the bigger glasses. All right, you're the property owners tonight?
Yes, we are.
Okay, and you have some people that are gonna testify on your behalf?
Yes.
Who are you gonna have testify on your behalf?
So we have Mr. Eamon Cedra, our architect, and Mr. Nick Graviano, who's the
Okay.
planner, will be
So
testifying.
are you going to be testifying at all, or allow those fellows to do all the talking for you?
For the most part, they'll be talking, but,
All right, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we just get sworn in, just in case? Do you swear for and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
Yes,
Okay, very good. And you're going to call Mr. Cedra first?
yes.
I knew you would. All right, Mr. Cedra, let's bring you on up. All right, and when Mr. Cedra gets to his spot, Mr. Cedra, we'll swear you in. Do you swear affirm to tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
I do.
All right, Mr. Cedra has been qualified as an architect before this board on many occasions. Mr. Cedra has a license as an architect in the state of New Jersey, and that license is up to date, correct?
Correct.
All right, Chairman?
Does anyone on the board have a question or objections regarding this witness? There being no objections, we can accept you as an expert in architecture.
We designed a new house for this lot. The zone is R3. And it's a single-family house where we have all the living spaces at the first floor. Also, we have a guest bedroom located on the right side of the building, the rear right side. The floor area at the first floor is 1,728. The garage area is 436. The garages, we have 2 car garages. They're side loaded on the left side, as you see. And the basement, which the image on the left shows just one big open space, and also we have a playroom and a bedroom included as part of the basement layout. The livable area in the basement is 1,728. The next sheet where we show on the left presents the second floor. We have 4 bedrooms with closets and bathrooms. We have 3 bathrooms located at the second floor. We have also a laundry room. The attic space is also accessible from pull-down stairs located at the front of the interior stair going up. The design of this house, let me also give the livable area. The second floor is 1,791. The floor area ratio is 25.11 with the floor area of 3,519. The design of the house, it's a colonial style house with gable roofs, and we also used materials like board and batten in the gable end and AZAC, and also we used horizontal hardy siding at the base and also at the second floor as well. We have also a base of stone at the bottom of the building, and it's colonial style house with modern accents where we have some casement windows. The height of the attic, measuring from the attic floor to the lowest point of the ridge, is 6'6", with the collar tie being at 4'6". We also have an open area counted at both levels of 44 square feet. And also I would like to mention that the family room is a single-story family room. So we are applying for a floor area ratio variance of 4.11%, and we are not exceeding the habitable floor area, which is the 3,520. We are at 3,519. That's all.
Ms. Cedra, are you or is Mr. Graviano going to speak to the front yard setback?
He is going to speak.
Okay, all right.
Okay, does anyone on the board have any questions for this witness? Does anybody in the public have any questions for this witness? Please come forward.
My name is Alan Barron, I'm a resident of Livingston. I just wanted for clarification because I didn't understand.
Can we just, I'm sorry, can I just have your last name again, sir?
Sure, Barron, B-A-R-E-N.
B-A-R-E-N.
Ian.
Ian.
A-L-A-N.
All right.
All right.
An address?
Is it okay if I give this for the written record? I don't want it to be on YouTube.
Okay, all right. No worries. Go ahead.
My wife will kill me. Okay, if that happens.
Just make sure you guys stay by the mic.
Sure. So the one thing I just didn't fully understand, but that could be my understanding as well, is, so you mentioned that you're not exceeding the max HFA for Zone 3. So I guess my question on that is then why do you need the 21 to 25% variance?
Actually, Mr. Graviano will
Oh, okay.
will describe that
I didn't
for you.
understand
so
that
you can-
inconsistency. Okay.
Sure.
So, okay.
Does anybody else in the public have any questions for this witness? Okay, I think we can move on.
Okay. Mr. Graviano, you want to test? Okay.
He knows where all the mics are. High
Okay.
tech, huh?
All right. Do you swear, affirm, and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
I do.
All right. Mr. Graviano has been accepted as a planner before this board on many occasions, and Mr. Graviano's license to practice as a planner in the state of New Jersey is up to date, correct, Mr. Graviano?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Does
Chair?
anyone on the board have any questions or objections regarding this witness? There being no objections, the witness is accepted as expert in professional planning.
Thank you, Chairman. Always a pleasure being here. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving and will have a great holiday season. The applicant's before the board tonight actually requesting only one variance, that is for the habitable floor area ratio. Mr. Wenzel posed the question regarding the front yard setback. The applicant is meeting the front yard setback despite the fact that a variance was indicated on the agenda as well as the notice. The applicant is meeting the required 50-foot front yard setback.
So, Mr. Graviano, just correct me if I'm wrong. For 68 Springbrook Road, the front yard setback is actually 50 feet?
Yes.
Okay.
And the zoning table then needs to be updated?
Yeah, there might have been some confusion. The existing front yard setback is 40 feet. The applicant's actually increasing the front yard setback 10 feet to 50 feet.
All right, what?
Even the plan
Oh,
show
wait,
40
wait.
feet also.
Let's, hold on, Mr. Graviano.
That says, but everything says 40, at least on the site plan.
So, just for the record, the,
Yeah.
What do you
40
have then
feet
for
on
the
the site
rear
plan.
yard setback?
40 right here.
40 and 40.
Sorry, I must have been given an older set of the plans.
This is why you gotta rely on the paper version, Mr. Graviano, you know, this is.
Yeah,
the
so,
digital is not as good. All right, so there is a
There-
front yard setback, but, I'm sure you have some testimony as that.
yes, that is consistent with the existing front yard setback of the current dwelling, part of the established neighborhood development pattern. Just to clarify some of the questions that the neighbor had before, as the board knows, and I'm just doing this for the public's education, Livingston has both a habitable floor area ratio requirement and a maximum habitable floor area square footage requirement. And what Mr. Sedger was indicating in his testimony is that the applicant's plan meets the maximum habitable square footage requirement, but does need the habitable floor area ratio requirement. I would like to note that this is a slightly undersized lot. 15,000 square feet is required. 14,015 square feet is existing and proposed with this application. The applicant does not require any other setback relief before the aforementioned front yard setback, which is consistent with the existing front yard setback of the dwelling today. I did a visual survey of the neighborhood, both in person as well as aerials, as well as the analysis of the tax data of Block 4010. This is certainly a dwelling that would be in keeping with the established development pattern of the area. When looking at a habitable floor area ratio variance, the applicant must demonstrate that the site can still accommodate the proposed dwelling withstanding the request for the habitable floor area variance request. Certainly, the applicant is meeting all of the side and rear yard setbacks. There is a minimum rear yard setback of 40 feet. The applicant's actually providing a rear yard setback of 50 feet. The applicant is exceeding both the minimum side yard and aggregate side yard requirements with this proposal, is also meeting the off-street parking required for the proposed dwelling. Certainly, looking at this in the context of the proof for the FAR variance, the applicant certainly advances purposes of zoning of the municipal land use law, specifically Purpose A, promotion of the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare. And that's being done by providing a new dwelling built to current codes, standards, and modern living arrangements. Additionally, advances Purpose G to provide sufficient space and appropriate location for a variety of residential uses to meet the needs of New Jersey citizens. And as you can see in the impeccably designed house by Mr. Sedger, it certainly advances Purpose I to promote a desirable visual environment through creative development techniques and good civic design and arrangement. I certainly think the applicant's modest 4.11 FAR request can be accommodated without substantial impairment to the zone plan or zoning ordinance, as well as the public good. With respect to the front yard setback variance, I believe that also can be granted under the C2 criteria, advancing purposes of zoning A, G, and I that were given with the FAR variance analysis.
Does anybody on the board have any questions for this witness?
I do. Ms. Graviano, do you have a front yard setback analysis for the neighborhood for this property?
Give me one moment.
Thank you.
Mr. Sedra indicated that the analysis was not performed because there were not the 3 houses to perform the analysis. So the applicant kept the front yard setback that existed at the dwelling today. The applicant's actually exceeding the rear yard setback. If it's the board's desire, is there space to push the house back, Mr. Sedra?
It just gonna make the lift side a little bit tight to make the garage side entrance as we show it. Also, I would like to mention that I spoke with the engineer today about the setback, and they told me that the FEMA map shows the 40 feet setback line as being what's known in this area and the neighboring properties along with this house as well. And that's what they call also, if you look in the survey, on the right side of the survey, you will see a dimension called 40 feet building setback line per FEMA 2006.
I'd also like to note that this is a little bit of a unique configuration in terms of this block. The house sits in the middle of 2 dwellings, neither of which front on Springbrook. And when you look at the house on the aerial, the front yard setback does line up with the side of the houses on both Birchwood and Rumson Road. So this is really a house that's within this block. There's only one house that fronts on Springbrook Road. And that setback is consistent with the side yard, well, the sides of the dwellings on both sides of the street.
I have a question. So the application states that the applicant is Mr. Jetty, but on this plan, it states that the owner applicant is Rodak. So who actually owns the property at the moment? Okay, so can we get this site plan corrected, because the site plan
Yes, we
states
can correct the
owner
site
applicant is Rodak, not. That I couldn't tell you.
December 22nd, so it's probably
Okay, so
All right, well, any applicant would have to, when they present formal plan, if they get approval, when they present plans to submit to the building department, those updated, revised, as-built plans will have to be updated accordingly.
The applicant will update the plan, and the applicants are the homeowners of the property.
Does anybody else on the board have any questions for this witness? Does anybody in the public have any, please?
Hi there. Alan Barron. This shouldn't affect the applicant's request, but I'm a stickler for kind of details, and it may affect the way the variance is being asked for. So from what I see, this lot is a 14,841 lot. So if you just do the simple math of dividing the max lot size for an R3, which is 3520, by that lot size, which is 14,841, the variance you need for that is 23.7, or a 2.7 variance, not 411. So I'm just a stickler for facts and not giving out variances we don't need to be giving out. So they only actually need a 23.7 variance, not what they're asking for.
Thank you. Is that something you guys? can-
Actually, the lot size as per the survey and the civil drawing is 14,015.
In either case, there would have to be a variance requested, whether it's 23 or where the, I understand the point, but, you know, the applicant is the applicant has utilized the services of professional to say that the FAR is 25.11.
I think,
So-
I think you might have had it. We're
Okay.
getting 4.11 up here on the,
All right, well,
yeah,
we're not.
so you will make sure that's correct, right, Mr. Paviano?
Just for the comfort of the neighbor, you know, the applicant is bound to the plans that were submitted to the board in terms of, you know, location and configuration and size, so we're comfortable with the calculations and the variances being requested by the applicant this evening.
Okay, does anybody else in the public have any questions for this witness? Okay. Your testimony is done then? Anything else, or is there any other statements you want to make?
I can just make a quick statement.
Please.
So we've moved into this town in 2018, and we plan to live here for a long time. We have our parents visit us, and that is one of the reasons we want a bigger house, and we are taking this massive project on. And yes, we are hoping to build this house and live in this town for a long time.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone in the anyone in the public want to make a statement regarding this application? Does anybody on the board want to make a statement regarding this application? Does anybody on the board want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
A little slow there.
Okay, Mr. Horn,
Approved.
Mr. Sherman,
Yes.
Mr. Shah,
Yes.
Ms. Yan,
Yes.
Mr. Weissman,
Yes.
Ms. Khan votes yes, Mr. Beer.
Yes,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, board.
you're welcome. All right, we're gaining speed here. Let's do the next one.
Block 3402, Lot 31, 52 Rumson Road, application number 2025-89-V, Scott Hoffman and Aniruddha V. Karmakar. Applicant seeks approval for a first and second floor addition in violation of the following sections: 170-98C2, front yard setback, 50 feet required, 41.29 feet proposed, 8.71 feet variance requested, 170-87C3, habitable floor area ratio, 21% allowed, 21.75% proposed, 0.75% variance requested.
Push the button. There you go.
Okay.
Welcome aboard.
It's good?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you tell me who you are?
My name is Aniruddha Karmarkar. I'm a resident at 52 Ramsden Road, owner of the property.
Okay, you're one of the owners of the property?
Yes.
Okay, and
I'm Gauri Valavalkar. I'm his wife and also a co-owner.
okay, and besides yourselves, is there anybody else going to be testifying with regard to this project?
Just us.
Just you? Okay. You understand that there are two variances you're requesting. One is a front yard setback, and the other, it's what's known as a habitable floor area ratio. Now, habitable floor area ratio is what's known as a D variance, and a D variance requires the affirmative vote in favor by 5 board members. So it's not 4 of the 3, it's not a majority, it's a supermajority. You're certainly free to proceed on your own. Normally, applicants bring their architect or planner, whoever they want to, but if you're ready to proceed, I'll swear you in and you can proceed tonight.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
Okay, and just so you're aware that if the board votes the project down, that you will not be able to present the project again in its current position, that you would have to revise the project, just so you understand that, because you're not represented by attorney, so I want you to understand what's going on.
That's fair.
Okay.
Our architect is present here.
I'm sorry?
Our architect is here. if
Your
we need
architect
him.
is here. Will the architect be testifying?
If, no.
They could
No.
decide later. They could decide later.
No.
right?
We can
No.
decide.
Oh,
But
okay.
They could decide later if they need to
Well,
bring it.
let's let the attorney run the meeting.
Sorry.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I know, without the bow tie, it was hard to tell who I was. It's all right, so let's swear you in. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, why don't you tell us what you want to do here?
Okay. So I think this is kind of similar to the previous project. So we live around the corner from that house. We have been here since 2017, and in the last few years, few things have changed. So we have my in-laws visiting us more. I am working from home more. I don't have a home office right now. My kids have grown. They're both teenagers. Their friends coming, visiting a lot. We need a little bit more space. The house that we have is a 70-year-old split-level house. We are not rebuilding. We are just extending a little bit in the back, so we get extra space. So the front yard setback that you see is a pre-existing non-compliance. So the wall, the front wall of the house is already, I think, 41.29 feet from the road, so that doesn't change. The only real variance we're asking for is the HFR. And way we did that was we are not going to be able to do a project of this size in future, in near term, right? So we want to make sure that we check off the things that we want. So we want a proper master bed, we want an office, we want a bathroom with the bedroom for when her parents come by and visit us, right? So once we designed the house with the architect, then this is a derivative of that. We didn't reverse engineer saying, oh, let's start with 21 and then design the house like that. So that's where we are at right now.
So, sir, other than the pre-existing front yard, the home as proposed meets all the other setbacks
Yes.
for the town, the rear, the side yard, and the height, all those are met, correct?
Absolutely.
Not going to violate any of those?
No.
And that the amount of habitable floor area, the actual square footage, you're at or below that standard? You're not asking for a variance for that?
Yeah, I'm not.
All right.
And even for the HFR, we are just going a little bit above the ask, but it meets all our needs.
So right there is an image of the lot. If we can make that a little bit smaller so we could see the whole lot?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I
So
should go
what-
there? Okay.
There we go. So that lot shape is on the one side, on the right side is on an angle, so that's a little bit irregular
Yes.
from a normal rectangular lot?
So
So
we-
your front yard is slightly smaller than your rear yard, so you're somewhat undersized?
Yeah.
Because of that? And your habitable floor area ratio overage that you're asking for that variance is not even a full percent, it's 0.75%, right?
Yes,
All right, so you're not that much over? Okay.
that's the idea. Yes, and the house to the right is the corner house. So that's where the Rumson and Springbrook meet.
Oh, okay.
So
That's why the lot
yeah,
is uneven.
Okay, so it's a de minimis violation, right? And as our attorney indicated, everything else is within the rules. We're not violating anything else, and the one violation is existing. Anybody on the board have any questions for this witnesses? Does anybody in the public have any questions for this witness? Does the architect have any questions for the witness? Just checking while you're there. I want
I
to keep
hope
you
not.
involved there, Scott. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're going to call him out. Does anybody in the public want to make any statements regarding this application? Does anybody on the board want to make any statements regarding this application? Does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll
I'll
second.
second.
Application.
Second, Peter?
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Weissman?
Approve.
Okay, Mr. Horn?
Approved.
Mr. Shah?
Approved.
Ms. Yan?
Yes.
Ms. Khan votes yes. Mr. Beer?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
And
Best of
this
luck.
is our
Happy holidays.
first time joining this. I really appreciate you guys taking time and the patience you have, because it's not easy sitting 2.5 hours.
You did a great job.
Listening. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so
Yeah.
much.
You were better off without the architect. It was good.
Okay. Block 4200, Lot 56, 63 Hillside Avenue, application number 2025-93-V. Alta Asset Management LLC, applicant seeks approval to construct a new single-family house in violation of the following sections: 170-98C2 front yard setback, 50 feet required, 44.6 feet proposed, 5.4 feet variance requested, 170-98C4 rear yard setback, 40 feet required, 36.1 feet proposed, 3.9 feet variance requested.
Welcome.
Good evening. Diana McGovern from the law firm of Gassion Pomaco on behalf of the applicant, Alta Asset Management. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here tonight for two C1 variances that have to do with a corner property. My client, Alta Asset Management, is the owner of 63 Hillside Avenue, which is located in the R3 zone. We are seeking to demolish the existing home, which has non-conforming setbacks, and build a new one-family home on this trapezoidal corner property, which has a sewer easement that runs directly through the center of it, creating several hardships. We are proposing a home that complies with the required floor area ratio. We're proposing 19%, where 21% is permitted. Due to these existing hardships, we are requesting the two variances, as I mentioned. One, for a front yard setback. We're moving the orientation of the house to face Belmont Drive. As I noted before, we're on a corner. So we're required to have a 50-foot front yard setback. We're proposing a 44.6 foot, so we are short by 5.4. And for a rear yard setback, we are required to have 40 feet, and we're proposing 36.1 foot for a variance of 3.9 feet. I have two witnesses tonight. I have Camille Rizikowski, who is he's the owner of he's the managing member of Alta Asset Management. And also, we have Charles Baldanza, who you get three for the price of one in terms of experts. He is our architect, engineer, and planner. He's licensed in the state of New Jersey in all three of those aspects. Yes.
Ms. McGovern, who do you want to call first?
We're going to call Camille first, please.
Okay. Sir, do you swear to tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
I do.
Okay, and you're with Alta Asset Management, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. McGovern.
Okay, Camille, what is your relationship to Alta Asset Management?
I am the managing member and owner.
Okay, and does Alta Asset own the property at 63 Hillside Avenue?
Yes,
And when did the company buy that?
in August.
Okay. What is currently on the property?
It's a single-family home.
And you propose to tear it down, why is that?
The home is in complete disrepair. The foundation has collapsed on the right side of the house. There's been water intrusion for years. There's rot, mold. I mean, the house is not fixable.
And what is the proposed house that you'd like to build there?
It's going to be a center hall colonial. I've done a number of projects in town, so it's going to be very similar to some of the others that I've constructed. It's going to be an open concept on the first floor with a formal dining room, office for the work-at-home family, with an in-law suite for any family members that are elderly and can't go up the stairs. We'll have a separate little bedroom with an ensuite on the first floor. And the second floor is going to have 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, and the finished basement with a rec space and a gym and things like that.
Thank you. Now, you're changing the orientation of the house to Belmont Drive, correct?
That is correct.
How will the front yard setback, I realize we're a corner property, but how will that line up with the other homes on that side of the street on Belmont, if you know?
Sure. So we are the only R3 lot on that side of Belmont. All the other homes are R4. Even though we're on the corner and we really don't qualify for an established setback, what I've done is to make sure that we're going to be in line with the surrounding neighborhood. We did do a laser analysis of the 4 adjacent homes down Belmont to ensure that we will meet at least a setback in line with those. So the setbacks of the other homes were 44.4, 46, and 43.8. So that's where we arrived with the front yard setback as we currently designed it.
Okay, thank you. I have no more questions for you, but the board may have some.
Does anybody on the board have any questions for this witness? Does anybody in the public have any questions for this witness? Back to you.
Thank you. I'd like to call Mr. Baldanza.
Do you swear for and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
I do.
All right, can we please have your name for the record, sir?
Yes, the name is Charles L., middle initial, Baldanza, Baldanza.
Okay, and I understand that you're a triple threat. You are licensed as an architect, a planner, and an engineer in the state of New Jersey?
Yes, that is correct, and my licenses are up to date. And I'll also add, I've had the pleasure of testifying in front of this board on several previous occasions.
So, Ms. McGovern, are we going to have this as which testimony for now?
So, because it's kind
We'll
of all
just
combined,
cover all three?
we're going to combine the whole thing to move this along.
Brevity being the soul of wit?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, okay.
All right. So,
Can we
Chairman?
just, concerning you going for the triple threat, can we just have your education, just so we
Yes,
hear?
my educational background is I have a master's degree in architecture from NJIT, and I've had my own design firm since 2014. And again, I've testified in front of land use boards throughout New Jersey.
And you're a licensed planner
Yes,
in the state of New Jersey, and it's
Correct.
current, your license?
yes,
And you're also a licensed engineer in the state of New Jersey?
I am.
All right, and
Was
where
that
did
by
you-
degree or by time?
It was by,
Experience?
on the basis of experience
Okay.
and taking the test.
Yep, you didn't mention an engineering, so that's why I thought you did. Okay.
Yeah.
Does anyone on the board have any questions, or objections regarding this witness? There being no objections, the witness is accepted as an expert in architecture, engineering, and planning.
Thank you. Charlie, could you take us through the existing site?
Okay, so we're at the corner, we're at the intersection of Belmont and Hillside. We're at the corner. We're on the northeast intersection of Hillside and Belmont. We're located in the R3 zone. So you can see on this, let me try to zoom in here. Having a little trouble here. As you can see from the key map, we're in the R3 zone. The R3 zone begins right, there's 2 properties across the street, and we're the only property in the R3 zone before the R4 zone begins on Belmont. The area of our property is 18,452.8 square feet. That's 0.42 acres, where 15,000 is required in the R3 zone. The property is somewhat irregular in shape in that it's trapezoidal. The major characteristics are it's a corner lot, so we have a very constrained building envelope, which you can see I'm emphasizing with the pointer. We have a very constrained building envelope because of the shape and due to the fact that we need to provide a front yard setback from each of the streets that we front. The other principal, main issue that I'd like to point out is we have a 10-foot wide sanitary sewer easement, which goes pretty much dead right through the middle of a lot. And that was our big design challenge in trying to deal with this and trying to design the home and comply with all the other requirements. So let's talk about the existing home that's on the lot. You saw some pictures of it previously. I'm going to point out a couple things. So as Camille mentioned, it's an older home. According to tax records, it was built in 1956. It does not comply with several of the bulk standards. Frontage from either street. It's as little as 17.7 on the Belmont side, and it's I think it's 41.9 on the hillside side. So the house is not conforming. And let me point out one other fact about this house. The deck is built right over the sanitary sewer. So we haven't been figured out how that happened, or if that was allowed to happen, or if that was somebody built that without permit. But I think it illustrates that we have a non-conforming house as far as the bulk standards, and the mere fact that they had to build the deck, or they did build the deck over that easement, just shows how much of a challenge it is. I also want to point out, just as far as the way it's looking, so the house faces hillside, which you can see from my pointer, and the two houses across the street, they face Belmont. And again, as I mentioned, they're in the R3, they're on undersized lots, which really, and they conform more with the R4 standards from my analysis. And what we're doing is we're proposing the new home to face Belmont. So it's really going to, I think, fit into the neighborhood, but I'm jumping ahead. Let me briefly mention, as far as, I don't know what just happened there. Okay, as far as the grading and the proposal of what we're doing here, we are maintaining the existing grades on the site, okay? And we're also, as far as stormwater goes, we're going to be providing seepage pits, so we have a drainage system. So we're going to be maintaining the existing drainage patterns, and we are going to be improving the drainage. Even though we're slightly increasing the impervious area, we're going to be more than making up for that by having a drainage system. And let me also mention, for completeness, that we did get a engineering review memo, and we're going to comply with, there's only a few points raised, but we're going to comply with all of those points. So if I may describe the proposed building, we're going to be putting in a house, as Diana mentioned in the introduction, we're complying with the habitable floor area ratio, the habitable floor area, square footage. We're complying with everything except for the front yard setback and the rear yard setback. As you can see, as I'm demonstrating on the site plan, the existing house, so we measured the existing houses, as Camille testified to, and we're dead on as far as what we proposed, because the average of the existing homes comes out exactly to, it's almost like we planned it. The average front yard setback is 44.6, and that's exactly what we are proposing. So it fits in very well with the Belmont streetscape, and you can see a little piece of the neighboring home, and you can see how it fits right in our proposed setback. So that's the front yard. So that's obviously the most logical place to place the proposed home on the lot. And then as far as the rear goes, we're slightly off. We need 40 feet is a requirement. We have 36.1. As you can see, if we cut the house down, it really minimizes the utility of the house. So we have a normal size house proposed. There's nothing out of the ordinary about the size, based on the fact that we're complying with all the other bulk standards. If we had slid the house page right, to the south, to conform with the rear yard, we would have made the front yard. We would have made the front yard even worse, or not worse, but less conforming with the bulk standards. So we feel this is the absolute most logical design and placement of the house on this particular lot.
What is behind, on the other side is the school property?
Yes,
isn't it?
there's a school property, which can be seen in this tax map and on the aerial. So there's an empty, so if you were traveling along Hillside, there's like it's an open area, which, as my understanding is, it belongs to the school.
I don't know if you want to go into just the actual drawing of the house so the board can see.
Oh, yeah,
the-
okay. I can do that. Yeah, so I could talk a little bit about the house. We comply with the habitable floor area calculation. We have a total of 3499 as far as habitable floor area. It's a two-story home. The home really is really, I think, very similar to many of the homes in the neighborhood and many of the other projects we've done in Livingston. As far as we're using hardy plank, we have a carriage garage door, we have some vertical siding, we have some accents which are standing seam metal roof. In general, I have to say that I have a long-standing working relationship with Camille, and we've done many projects, and architecturally, this fits in very well with the neighborhood and with Livingston. We have some stone accents on the front. I will point out we have a bedroom on the first floor, which is something that is often asked for in my practice. We're hearing more and more about people want to have a bedroom on the first floor for convenience, for in-laws, aging in place, that type of thing.
Okay, so we can move into planning. Why is this a C1 variant?
Okay, talking about the variances, and putting my planner hat on, I guess I'm transitioning over to the planning role. So just to be clear, there are two variances requested, the front yard and the rear yard. I'm gonna go back to the site plan, because I think it illustrates it. So the required front yard setback, as I mentioned, in the R3 zone is 50 feet. We're proposing the 44.6. For exactly the reason, not to repeat myself, was the rear yard is because we don't want to make the front yard more, non-conforming. And our front yard at the proposed 44.6 complies with, complies with the neighboring properties. The site is suitable for the project.
Can you just point out where the sewer easement is in
Oh, yeah.
relationship to the project?
It's this dash line here. Let me see if I can just move it over here. Yeah, it's this dash line. This is the sewer easement, which continues from Belmont. So you can see it's a dagger right in the middle of the lot, bullseye, that we had to work around.
Okay. All right, I'm sorry, I didn't...
Okay, so I want to talk
So,
about
Ms. Bolzano, would you say that because of the sewer easement being straight through the lot, that obviously you can't build on the sewer easement, right?
Absolutely.
So any applicant would be forced to build either on, because of the orientation, I'll just call it the top and bottom, either the top of that lot or the bottom of the lot, right?
Yes.
So you're living within the constraints. There's very specific physical constraints to
Yes.
this lot that prevent any applicant from building a home on the lot. And the top part of the lot gives you more, be fair to say that it gives you more space to build than the bottom half, which
Correct.
kind of narrows down.
Correct.
Because the nature of the line. Would that be fair to say?
I would say that's very accurate.
So, all things being equal, because of that very unique, weirdly unique set of circumstances where you have this sewer line running through the lot, you have to build the building where it's at. That's really what this is coming down to, right?
That is absolutely what it's coming down to. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I think you articulated that very well. I wholeheartedly agree. By reason of the exceptional features of this lot, we clearly qualify for our request to the board is for a C1 variance due to those constraints of the lot.
Okay. Would this in any way be detrimental to the zone plan?
Well, no, not at all, because I've reviewed the master plan for Livingston, and it actually talks about, one of the goals in the R3 zone is to have the setbacks have conforming setbacks to the existing neighborhood context. And it specifically talked about situations like this, and we, as I mentioned previously, we are fitting in exactly and designing to the setbacks that exist in the neighborhood.
Is the negative criteria also satisfied? In terms of, are there any negatives that you can see?
Yeah, absolutely. There's no substantial detriment to the zoning regulations of the master plan. The replacement of this 1956 dwelling, which is with a different single-family home in this residential zone, for the benefit and enjoyment of future and current residents, consistent with the goals of the master plan, and due to the fact that we're providing a drainage system, that we're enhancing the streetscape along Belmont, and fitting in with the neighborhood. In my professional planning opinion, we are do not have any benefit. You know, the benefits far outweigh any detriments.
That would, I don't know if the board has
Okay,
any
does anyone on the board have any questions for this witness? I have one quick question, actually two quick questions. You have an egress staircase coming out of the basement, I see?
That is
Yes.
correct.
When the basement is not going to be a separate apartment at all, right?
No, there is no kitchen in the basement.
So you would agree as a condition of approval that would not be used as separate living space?
That is correct.
And there's no available height in the attic to have living space too, I believe, right? Is that correct?
That is correct. We're going to have a pull-down stair going to the attic.
Okay. Does anybody else on the board have any questions for this witness? Does anybody in the public have any questions for this witness? Does anybody in the public want to make any statements? Back to you, ma'am.
I don't have
just
much
came
to
in.
say, other than this is a beautiful new home and fits in with the neighborhood, and it clearly satisfies the C1 criteria between the shape of the property, the fact that it's a corner lot, and we've got that sewer easement that just means you build on one side or the other, and they've picked the best side that they could possibly build on. Thank you.
When we get to statements, I had a statement.
Okay, does anybody on the board want to make a statement?
So, and I thought you meant to me, it seems like, I think this will be a big improvement for the neighborhood, so I think you meant on C1 and C2. It looks nice to me. So it's sort of a request. It's in my neighborhood. I'm not 200 square feet, but it's in very close to my house. So it's also, which is on Hillside. When you drop, so it's more of a request, because I'm telling you, I think you met the standard for the variance. And I think it would add value to your home. The side facing Hillside, which is sort of a main road, it's a double-line road in town. So a lot of people use this road. And the side facing Hillside, it's not very aesthetically pleasing. And I feel like just looking at the plans, I feel like it could be, like one of them's a bedroom, that could be a window. It could be windows in the garage. One's the mudroom, and it could be a door to sort of give, you know, Hillside an appearance of almost another front to it. I feel like it could add value to the house and the neighborhood.
We can't design homes, but I'm sure.
That was my member of the public.
I'm sure that Ms. McGovern will certainly convey that to her client, and.
That's all I was asking.
Maybe.
Thank you.
Maybe they would take that into consideration, but that's certainly up to them. So
Yes, no, we understand and we
Ms. McGovern
hear
is
that.
very good at communicating to her client.
I would just like to say one very, very quick thing. That's a very, very busy intersection, right? And then when school is in session, I'm sure you've seen the lines of cars and the kids and the crossing guard. So I think that the builder needs to take extreme care when it comes to trucks and the silt fence and nails and all that kind of stuff and the debris, because it is, I mean, you've seen it, and it's crazy, you know, between the hours of like 2 and 3. So just, you know, it can't be a condition, but just so you know that it's something that really I think should be, you know, paid attention to.
Well, my client has young has a young daughter and understands that
Right, I
exactly.
mean,
So
yeah.
I'm sure every
Okay.
effort will
Just to-
be made.
Just to
Thank
point
you.
it out and, have it on the record that that's definitely something to be taken into consideration. So thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody else want to make a statement, comment, or other? Does someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve, subject to the conditions as stated regarding the basement as well as the attic.
I'll second it.
Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Shah?
Yes.
Ms. Yan?
Yes.
Mr. Weissman?
Yes.
Ms. Khan votes yes. Mr. Beer?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
It's busy there on the weekends too, trust me, I spent many a day on that soccer field.
Do the next application. Okay. Okay, Block 4200, Lot 5, 71 Hillside Terrace, application number 2025-96-V, Rodak Homes. Applicant seeks approval to construct a new single-family house in violation of the following sections: 170-99C2, front yard setback, 40 feet required, 30.17 feet proposed, 9.83 feet variance requested, 170-87CC4, habitable floor area ratio, 30% allowed, 36% proposed, 6% variance requested.
Hillside.
Good evening. My name is Matthew Posada. I'm with the law firm Sills, Cummins & Gross, and I represent the applicant tonight regarding this application for both habitable floor ratio and front yard setback. What the applicant's looking to do here for the subject, did you want to pause me?
No, don't bother with me now.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know if you were trying to make eye contact.
No.
Yeah,
no,
okay.
I'll look
You
the
got
other
it.
way.
The applicant's here tonight proposing to demolish the existing single-family home, and in doing so, will construct a new single-family home. Although we are here tonight requesting ratio variance relief as well as front yard setback relief, I want to bring to the attention of this board that, number one, the habitable floor area is absolutely conforming with what is allowed within this within the bulk standards for the zone. But more importantly, this application will be eliminating 2 variances for both side yard as well as aggregate side yard. And although we are requesting front yard variance relief, we are improving the existing condition for front yard. Not a lot, but it is an improvement. I wouldn't necessarily say the single-family home that exists today is dilapidated, but it is close there too. So we are looking to bring this more into character of the neighborhood and modernize the existing lot itself. With that being said, I'll have 2 witnesses tonight. I will have my architect, Amos Edra, as well as my planner, Nick Graviano. And if I may, I'd like to call my first witness, my architect.
All right, Ms. Sedra, you're sworn in before, but you swear firm to tell the truth for the zoning board tonight? Okay, Mr. Sedra has been qualified as an architect not maybe about 30, 40 minutes ago, but I'm sure that his license to practice architecture in state New Jersey is up to date.
Correct.
And we can accept them as an expert in architecture.
All right, Mr. Sedra, why don't you walk us through what we're looking to propose here tonight?
Sure. We are proposing a single-family house located in R4 zone. If you look at the floor plans of this house, the first floor hosts the living spaces, and also we have 2-car garage facing Hillside Terrace. Also, the first floor has 1 guest bedroom with its own bathroom and closet. The area of the first floor is 1,215. This is the livable area, and the garage area is 434. To the left of the first floor, to the right of the first floor is the second floor. The second floor consists of 4 bedrooms with bathrooms and closets, and also we have a laundry room. The area for the second floor is 1,423 with a total floor area of 2,638, and the floor area ratio is 36 with a 6% variance required for the floor area ratio. The attic is only accessible with the pull-down stairs from the second floor. And also we have, at the second floor, we have, at the rear of the house, we have a balcony, small balcony, 6'8" by 12 feet. To the far left, we have the basement. Basement is one open space, and also we have two small rooms, one office, one bedroom. The area for the basement is 1,215. The design of the outside, it's a colonial-style home with board and batten at the gable end. And also we have hardy horizontal siding, and we have some accent with the standing seam metal roof on top of the first floor. And just to dress it up a little bit, we also have a stone at the base of the building. The elevation next to the front elevation is the rear elevation, and you see the balcony at the second floor. We have an open space of 71 square feet. This open space located at the entry foyer. It's counted 2 times, but it's only used at the first floor. And we're only applying for 2 variances. One is the floor area ratio, and the other one is the front yard. That's all.
So just a few questions for you.
Sure.
Just to confirm again, we do have an area in the front floor area where we're double counting approximately 71 square feet pursuant to the zoning code, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and this lot is approximately about 21% undersized, is that correct?
Correct.
And the proposal itself is requesting a variance relief of an additional 6%, is that correct?
Correct.
Would you say that 6% is roughly about the size of a bedroom, give or take?
Yeah, plus or minus, yeah. It's 6% is like 439 square feet, so maybe it's a bedroom with a bathroom.
Yeah, or the walk-in closet or something akin to
Yeah.
that? Thank you. I have no further questions for this witness.
Does anybody on the board have any questions for this witness? I'll make just a quick comment on the elevation. I was a little concerned with the size of the lot, but I saw you brought down the roof to 6 on 12, and I think that helped to bring the massing down a bit. So I think that's helpful in this particular case. No
I'm sorry,
question?
the question was?
No, just make a comment, just a comment.
Oh,
that
so
I-
just a comment.
I thought the 6 on 12 helped to bring the massing down, because
Sure.
the R4s do get tight. Anybody in the public have any questions for this witness? Back to you.
All right, I'd like to call my last witness, Mr. Nick Graviano.
Mr. Graviano, do you swear firm and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Graviano's been qualified 37 minutes ago as a planner, and his license to practice as a planner in the state of New Jersey is up to date.
Yes, I'm more experienced now.
Okay. More experienced than he was before.
He always has a
And then we can
one-liner.
definitely accept you as an expert in planning.
Thank you. I think Mr. Posada's introduction, as well as Mr. Sedger's testimony, did a good job setting forth the elements of this application. Block 4200, Lot 5, 71 Hillside Terrace. The applicant is requesting the front yard setback variance where 40 feet is required, 30.17 feet is proposed, a 9.83 feet variance is being requested. This lot did qualify for the front yard setback averaging. A setback study was conducted for the 6 qualifying lots in the area. The average setback was 29.93 feet, and the applicant's at 30.17 feet, whereas 28.28 exists today. So the applicant is increasing the front yard setback and is within the average of the 6 studied lots in the general vicinity. The applicant is also requesting the FAR variance, whereas 30% is allowed. This application, it's 36%, 6% is being requested. As previously noted, this lot is a little bit over 2,000 square feet smaller than the requirement of the district, but the applicant did go through great care to design a house that's befitting of the lot, befitting of the neighborhood, It's not a situation where the applicant's getting aggressive with the habitable floor area. As you all know, the R4 permits 3220, and the applicant's before the board with 2638. So the applicant is approximately 580 square feet smaller than the maximum habitable floor area of the district. No other setback variances are being requested. The applicant has adequate off-street parking both within the garage as well within the driveway. So certainly when examining the FAR criteria, the applicant can accommodate the proposed single-family dwelling withstanding the FAR variance being requested. The proposal certainly advances the purpose of zoning A, G, and I. A related to replacing this house, which has certainly seen better days, with a newly designed structure designed to current standards and to current desires, as well as promoting purpose G to provide sufficient space and appropriate location for a variety of residential uses to meet the needs of New Jersey citizens. And lastly, it promotes purpose I, a desirable visual environment through creative development techniques and good civic design and arrangement. There's certainly no substantial impairment to the zone plan or zoning ordinance with the granting of an FAR variance. This is a pretty modest single-family house in a single-family zone. With respect to the front yard setback variance, as you know, it meets the averaging allotment. However, the board deems that to be a variance. That variance certainly could be granted under the C2 criteria, advancing purposes of zoning A, G, and I without substantial impairment to the zone plan or zoning ordinance.
So is it your testimony that we have satisfied the requirements for the averaging of the front yard setback?
Yes, we have.
So for this proposed application, would you say that it is a balancing the proposed bulk standards, considering the fact that although we do have a ratio variance, we have eliminated 3 other variances, and taking consideration the site constraints, the habitable floor area is approximately 583 square feet below what is permitted?
Yes, touching on some of those setbacks that are being improved, an 8.12 feet exists today, whereas 10 feet is proposed, so the applicant's a little bit under 2 feet. That's increasing the side yard setback, also increasing that aggregate side yard setback, which is deficient as well. So certainly with the C variance, which is also termed a benefits versus burdens variance in the planning world, the benefits of this application certainly outweigh any detriment of granting the variance.
Great. I have no further questions for this witness.
Does anyone on the board have any questions for this witness? I'm going to rescind my last comment because I had my packages mixed up because you have so many of them. So that'll be for a different.
So the
application.
positive comment will have to wait.
Yes, yes. I rescind my positive comment. Does anyone in the public have any questions for this witness? Happens. Does anyone in the public want to make any statement regarding this application? Back to you.
I want to keep with that Shakespearean quote, so I'm going to waive.
Thank you.
All right, does anyone on the board want to make any statements? Does anyone on the board want to make any motions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay. Mr. Sherman,
Yes.
Mr. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Shah,
Yes.
Ms. Yan,
Yes.
Mr. Weissman,
Yes.
Ms. Khan votes yes, Mr. Bier.
Yes.
Thank you.
I assume you're not moving.
No. It'd be awkward.
Wait.
Next application, I'm sorry. Forgot. Okay. Block 4904, Lot 25, 50 West Hobart Gap Road, application number 2025-97-V, Rodak Homes. Applicant seeks approval to construct a new single-family house in violation of the following sections: 170-87 CC4, habitable floor area ratio, 30% allowed, 36% proposed, 6% variance requested.
For a second, and if we can go to the next one. facade has to check for me.
Sure.
Okay, so I'll read that application. Block 4010, Lot 2, 8 Roosevelt Terrace, application number 2025-98-V. Should I read slowly? Okay. Rodak Homes, applicant seeks approval to construct a new single-family house in violation of the following section. 170-87 CC4, habitable floor area ratio, 30% allowed, 36% proposed, 6% variance requested.
Hi there. Yeah, I got it, I got it,
Okay, here
I
it
got the
is.
order now.
Okay,
All right.
Okay, I'm sorry, Matt.
So we're gonna do Roosevelt right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
As soon as Nick comes back, I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for calling, client. Good evening, my name is Matthew Posada, I'm from the law firm Sills, Cummins and Gross, and I still represent Rodak Homes Incorporated in connection with this application for habitable floor ratio. The applicant is here tonight proposing to demolish the existing improvements in order to construct a new single-family home for a site that is essentially undersized by approximately 22%. In doing so, it will be eliminating 3 variances for front yard, side yard, and aggregate side yard as well. All other bulk standards are conforming, but for the ratio itself. Tonight, I'll have 2 witnesses. My first witness will be my architect, Eamon Cedra, and my second witness will be my planner, Nick Graviano. And if I may, I'd like to call my architect, Eamon Cedra.
Please.
Mr. Cedra, just for clarity, do you swear to tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
I do.
Cedra's been accepted mere moments ago as an architect, and Chairman, we should.
We
think
can
of
accept
you
him as architect. Expert in architecture.
Mr. Cedra, were you the architect in charge of preparing the proposed plans here tonight?
Yes.
Why don't you walk us through those proposals?
Sure. This is a new single-family house in R4 zone. The first floor consists of the living spaces, and also we have a guest room at the first floor, 2-car garage, and the livable area at the first floor is 1,193 square feet. Such a small house. And the garage area is 434. The second floor on the right consists of 4 bedrooms with closets and bathrooms. We also have a balcony on the right side corner overlooking the rear yard. The second floor livable area is 1,418 with a total floor area, livable floor area of 2,611, and the floor area ratio is 36%. The attic is accessible with pull-down stair located at the second floor hallway. To the far left, we have the basement, which we have an office and a bedroom in the basement, and the rest of the space is just open space for recreation. The second floor, there is an open space at the second floor. It's about 70 square feet of open space, counted 2 times, but only used at the first floor. The front of the house, it's a colonial style house, so we proposed the stucco for this house with stone at the first floor. And also we have accent with the standing seam roof between the first and second floor. We gave it some modern accent with the windows being casement windows throughout the whole house. The rest of the elevations, we're using hardy siding, on the 2 sides of the house and the rear. Again, we're applying for a floor area ratio variance where 30% is required. We are at 36%, and that's the only variance we're applying for.
Just a few questions for you, real quick.
Sure.
The first question is, the attic is accessible. Apologies. Just a few questions for you. My first question is the attic itself. How is that accessible?
It's only accessible with the pull-down stair located at the second floor hallway.
Okay. And for this zone, technically speaking, what is permitted for habitable floor area is 3,220 square feet, correct?
Correct.
And what we're proposing is approximately 600 square feet less, so that is consistent and well balanced with the other bulk standards?
Correct.
Thank you. I have no further questions for this witness.
Does anybody on the board have any questions for this witness?
I'd like to call my last witness, my planner, Mr. Nick Graviano.
Mr. Graviano, do you swear affirm and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
I do.
Okay, Mr. Graviano has been qualified in the field of planning, Mr. Chairman.
Excellent. We can accept him as an expert.
Thank you, Chairman. Okay, this is an application very similar to the last one, although the benefits by this application are actually a little bit greater than the last one. This is an application for a specific piece of property known as 8 Roosevelt Terrace, Block 4010, Lot 2. The applicant is requesting a habitable floor area ratio variance, whereas 30% is allowed, 36 is proposed, a 6% variance request. This isn't also an undersized lot by a little bit over 2,000 square feet. The applicant is increasing the front yard from 34.69 feet to 40 feet. The applicant is eliminating an existing deficient side yard setback of 4.58 feet, bringing it into conformity with 10 feet. Additionally, increasing an aggregate side yard that exists today from 11.29 feet to 21.69 feet, which is in conformance with the ordinance standards. Similar to the other application, this zone does allow the 3220 habitable floor area square footage. The applicant is 609 square feet less than that requirement, coming in with a dwelling at 2611 square feet. So when you look at all these elements combined, the applicant is getting rid of a great amount of existing nonconformities, bringing many elements into conformity. Looking at the requirements for the habitable floor area ratio variance, the applicant certainly can accommodate the use on the site given the variance request. Can also advance the purposes of zoning A, G, and I without substantial impairment to the zone plan or zoning ordinance.
Terrific. I have no further questions for this witness.
Does anyone on the board have any questions for this witness? Does anybody in the public have any questions for this witness? Does anyone in the public want to make any statements? Come on up, please.
My name is Alan Barron. Just to give some context on kind of why I'm here tonight, I'm an R4 homeowner. I think Livingston has like the rest of the country, a severe housing crisis. It's not clear to me how we're actually managing that. So I'm here to learn. And I just wanted to give, so I want to just give my perspective on this particular variance. I think given that this lot is an undersized lot, I think asking for a variance to bring it up to what should be the minimum for an R4 makes complete sense. So, giving them a variance so they can build as big as you could build on a 9375 variance makes a lot of sense, and they're building smaller than that. My only comment would be, I think, talking about it complying to a 3220 shouldn't really be the context, because you would need a 10,700 square foot lot to do that, and you're 3,500 square feet short of that. So the real question is, it's the lot minimum size is smaller than what should be required for other R4s, and we should look to conform that up to the minimum that you would be able to build on a 9375, which is, getting you up to a 2812, not a 3220. I think there's just too much of a impetus in town to take every R4 lot and want to make it 3220, and it really has to be based on the actual physical lot size, not just the max. So it's just a comment that, as we think about R4s, we really need to think about not overbuilding for those lots relative to the lot size. But this one clearly, is well under that. It makes a lot of sense to equalize it, to get it up to what would be comparable to a 9375 lot. So,
Thank you, that's appreciated. I know the town council is constantly looking at lots and rules and everything else to try to do what they can to properly manage it for the town folk.
And I would just have one last comment. I think the thing that just not myself, but others struggle with is there's a lot of nice new building in town, but there is this kind of oxymoron between all the building that's going on, the unaffordability of town. I have a 30-something daughter and 2 grandchildren, and they can't afford to move in this town for sure. I mean, 30-somethings can't find anything. So when you start building these, 1.9 million homes, there's, every home we do rebuild that's not kind of using the same footprint but building bigger, we reduce our starter home inventory. And while we have that going on the building side, we have the state telling us we need to build 450 units of low-income housing. Those two things happening at the same time don't make a lot of sense. If anyone on this committee would ever want to have a cup of coffee and talk about it, this is not the forum.
No,
I'd be glad
obviously,
to have that
we appreciate
conversation.
that, but, obviously we can't control what the prices of the home. I would love to have you cut it in half, and I might pick up one, but, see what happens. We can talk.
This
Let's have
guy's a
coffee.
consultant, actually.
I think for me, the big difference is I've seen beautiful knockdowns and renovations where they kind of maintain the integrity of the existing footprint. Maybe they turn them into a 4-3, but then you see how, then you also do see the 7-6s and the 6-6s, and you say, who in their 3 generations are moving into this house, and how long are they going to be able to afford it till it goes belly up? So you got a lot of that, and then a lot of those houses do sit on the market for a very long time before they sell. One in our neighborhood, actually, no kidding, on Roosevelt across the street. Go look at the history for that house. Sat for 4 years, on and off the market, price decrease. It didn't really sell for 4 years. That big house on the north side of Roosevelt, right across from where you're building. So.
Supply and
Developers need to
demand.
take care to not overbuild because they'll sit with them for a long time.
That's
Anyway. Yeah.
fortunately, unfortunately, beyond our purview, so, but yes, thank you. Good comments. Okay, back to you then.
I waive my summation.
There we go. Would any of the board like to make any comments? And would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Weissman, EI.
I wrote that down on purpose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Weissman,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Mr. Sherman,
Yes.
Ms. Yuan,
Yes.
Ms. Khan votes yes, Mr. Beer.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Yep. You're good, right?
Yeah, no conflict. I'm sorry, I apologize to the board, we had to take it out of context, out of order for Mr. Posada to check on something. For me, there's no conflict. Go ahead, Mr. Posada, I'm sorry.
No worries. Good evening, my name again is Matthew Passam from the law firm Sills, Cummins & Gross, and I represent Rodak Homes Incorporated regarding this application for a habitable floor ratio. The applicant is looking to propose a demolition with the new construction of a single-family home. That would also include a new driveway, porch, and also a patio for this undersized lot. The habitable floor area itself that's being proposed here tonight is conforming, and similar to the other applications this board heard tonight, there will be an elimination of an existing variance, specifically front yard. With that being said, I will have 2 witnesses here tonight. One will be my architect, and my second will be my planner. And if I may, I'd like to call my first witness, my architect, Eamon Sedra.
Okay, hopefully for the last time tonight, we'll swear you in. Ms. Sedra, do you swear affirm, you swear affirm and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
I do.
All right, Ms. Sedra has been qualified in the field of architecture.
We can accept them as an expert.
All right, Mr. Sedra, were you the architect responsible for the architectural plans that are before this board tonight?
Yes, I am.
Why don't you walk us through what we're looking to do?
Sure. For this lot, we are proposing a single-family house. In sheet A01 on the right side, you'll see the first floor plan where we see all the living spaces. And also we have a one-story family room, separate, kind of like separate from the house a little bit at the back of the house. And we have also a guest room with a sliding door that gets out to the rear patio. And two-car garage. We have two-car garage facing West Hobart. The area for the first floor is 1,520, and we have a garage area of 432. The left side of the first floor is the basement, where we have open space, bar area. We have a bedroom and a playroom. The bedroom has its own egress window. The next sheet, A02, is the second floor on the left side. We have 4 bedrooms with bathrooms and closets. Also, we have a laundry room located at the hallway. The attic is accessible through pull-down stairs from the hallway. And we have an open space of 42 square feet located at the stair foyer. This open space counted 2 times, but only used at the main level at the first floor. The livable area for the second floor is 1,620. The floor area is 3,140 with the floor area ratio of 36%. The design of the exterior, it's a colonial style home with board and batten at the gable end. And also we have James Hardy's horizontal siding as the wall facade. And then we have a base of stone, culture stone at the base. We have a small balcony, 4x12 of the master at the second floor. And as you see in the rear elevation, the family room, it's only a single-story family room. As far as the variances, we only applying for one variance here, which is the floor area ratio, where it's 30% required, and we are at 36%. And we actually eliminating existing non-conforming front yard variance. That's it.
And just to confirm, the attic itself is only accessible by pull-down?
Correct.
Thank you. I have no further questions for this witness.
Does anyone on the board have any questions for this witness? I will make a statement about the roof, though. I really like that 6 on 12. To put that on the record on the correct application. Does anyone in the public have any questions for this witness? Come on up.
Do this long enough, I'll learn the right questions to ask.
That's okay. It's all good.
Can you tell me what do you have for the lot size?
The lot size, I have 8,730.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, back to you.
I'd like to call my last witness.
Please
Mr.
do.
Nick Graviano. Oh, there you are.
Mr. Graviano, do you swear affirm to tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
I do.
All right, Mr. Graviano has been qualified in the field of planning and no emails, right, Nick?
No.
Okay.
We
Give
can
Bob a
accept
check
them
his
as
phone
a,
number.
as a.
I don't think anybody at the state's working right now, but. Thank you. Just, this one is requesting one FAR variance. The applicant is requesting 6%. As the neighbor just indicated, this is an 8,730 square foot lot. The lot's roughly 645 square foot less than what's required by ordinance. The applicant is proposing a dwelling which is below the habitable floor area by roughly 80 square feet. This lot's a little bit bigger than the last two that were subject to the board's approval. The applicant is creating a modest increase to the front yard setback of roughly a foot to bring it into conformity. The applicant is also a foot less in height than what's required by ordinance. So it's certainly like the other applications, keeping in mind the context of the neighborhood, the lot itself, and the surrounding community. That FAR variance can be granted advancing purposes of zoning, A, G, and I without substantial impairment to the zone plan or zoning ordinance. Certainly a nicely designed house that's in keeping with the neighborhood character. I also did have a chance to analyze the neighborhood on foot as well as through aerial and tax records. There's certainly a good amount of homes that are the same square footage on similar sized lots within the surrounding community.
I have no further questions.
Does anyone on the board have any questions for this witness? Does anyone in the public have any questions for this witness? Okay. Does anyone in the public want to make any statements regarding this application? Come on up.
Hello again.
That's all right. Welcome back.
Sorry, let's get you sworn in. Do you
Sure.
swear affirm and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
Alan Bear, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
So the last conversation we had gave this very good context, and I first just want to say I can't tell you how much I appreciate the challenge that you all on the board have in having to balance the requests that you get from applicants and variances and making those accommodations, and at the same time, trying to safeguard our zoning laws and representing the rest of the town of Livingston that's not here. I can't tell you, Mr. Weissman, how much I appreciated your no tonight. It's a hard balance that you strike, and the conversations that we just had around, well, the town council is working on it and it's out of our purview. This is a perfect case where it is exactly in your purview. So when I looked at these three houses that were bought by a developer, not by a family who owns them, they knew they bought three undersized lots. I think it's very flexible and nice that the town of Livingston decides to accommodate property buyers like that to say, hey, listen, we shouldn't have any R4s that are below 93.75. So anyone who does buy an undersized lot, it's an anomaly and will help get you up to the 93.75 that really every R4 should have as a minimum. That to me is a perfectly reasonable accommodation to make of anyone who buys an undersized lot. In terms of that balance, I'm an R4 property owner. My lot is exactly 93.75. I cannot build bigger than 28.12. That's my max. I can't go up to 32.20. My lot size doesn't accommodate it. And these folks know when they bought the lot that they bought the size for, that they'd have to build a 2,600 square foot house. Or if they got a variance, they could maybe get it up to 28. But instead they buy an undersized lot and they hope to come here and get the 30% HF ratio that everybody else in the town of Livingston has to live by. And they look and seek a variance for no good reason other than they want to build a bigger house and make more money to sell it. And that's every house that we do that to, we lose another starter home. And so I would, representing the other R4 owners in town, very much support the applicant's variance to get them up to the same size house they could build as any other R4 owner who owned a property lot like mine at 93.75, which would allow them to build a 28.12 lot. That would be approximately a 32.2 ratio with a 2.2 variance, would get them up to building the same size house that they could build on any R4 lot that had the minimum. But their lot is smaller than that, so they want to be able to get that variance, and that part of the variance, the 2.2, makes total sense. Building above that is completely an arbitrary decision that you have to make, whether that poses a hardship or not, or whether it's helping the community. I would make the case that that harms the rest of the community and is actually against enforcing the zoning laws that are in place, the 0.30% that all the other R4 owners have to live by. There's no good reason why you have to buy an undersized lot and build up to 3,100 or 3,200 square feet.
Let me just quickly address one thing, is that the zoning laws allow for 3,220 square feet. So you can build up to 3,220 square feet in an R4, but you would be possibly over on your ratio, which is what these past few applications have come in, saying we need ratio as opposed to floor area. So you could build to 3,220, you might go over on your habitable floor area, you'd have to come to us to get relief. So any owner, any homeowner could still do that.
Correct, but
Right.
without seeking relief or a variance, you have to build to the actual lot size. So if you're under 10,700, you're building below the 3220, and you're building closer to 2812, which is, you know.
Or if you're at
But-
6,500, you could be building down to
Right, but
1,800,
now-
which might not be.
Right, but now if you're telling the rest of the R4 owners in town, don't worry about it, if you have a 9375 lot and you want to build bigger, just come to us and we'll give you a variance, then that's the message that you would be sending, that it's not a big leap to jump, you know what I'm saying? But from our perspective, the lot size has to support what you're building. And listen, I think if you buy an undersized lot, you're pretty lucky if you can come to this board and get a variance so that you actually can build to the minimum. Trying to build to the maximum, when you've already knew what you were buying, seems like, you know, starting to say, when do we decide that we're going to enforce the 30% ratio that everyone else lives by? I get you, people who come to break that ratio, they could be breaking it because of, you know, a setback or a non-conforming site. They're not doing it just because they want to build bigger and make more profit on a house. So at some point, we need to control and make a decision in town that, hey, you know, 20 years from now, let's target a 20% inventory of starter homes that are.
Okay, sir, I don't mean to
4 threes
interrupt you or
less,
anything, but
yeah.
thank you so much for making your point. It's very well taken. It's very, very well taken, and thank you very much for coming in front of the board. It's community members like you that, you know, give us, coming from you, it means a lot, and we appreciate that, so thank you very much. And if you have any questions, you can always get in touch with us as far as what the lot requirements are and the setback requirements are. We'd be happy to go over those with you, but we also adhere to the, as our attorney likes to say, we're a quasi-judiciary board, so we have certain legal restraints as well. So thank you very much for coming tonight.
Can I add one thing also? Sure. Yeah, I wanted to add also, and again, I just want to reiterate, I also appreciate it. I think it's great that you're coming out. I think it's great anytime the member, it gives us such a much informed view of what our fellow neighbors are thinking. So I think it's.
One more last comment? I would just make one last comment.
Last one.
No, you can't, no, sir, you can't, no.
Well, the second point I wanted to make, because you brought up a point, again, it's not just for you, but our neighbors bring up a point, obviously, probably a lot of people feel the same way. So I wanted to clarify, we're not just bound by the town laws, it's not just a number. There's also the municipal land use law and some case law that goes along with it. So what you're hearing tonight is there's sections that go under what's called a C1, a C2, and then there's the ratio, which goes under D, which is it's a different standard, and as these experts can tell you, that we're somewhat bound by the law, okay, because these experts are proving to us or giving us evidence that a lot can accommodate, which is a little different standard than just the square footage, right? And we have to listen to that as well, because as a homeowner, you don't want the town to be liable for not approving something that we have very good testimony and we agree with, that a lot can accommodate, which might be a lesser standard than a square footage. So it's not just we look at the number and go, and I agree with you, it's not like de minimis, you're close enough. That's not what's happening here, that we think that they're close. You know, that we're relying on a different standard based upon the statute and case law.
Thank you. Okay. I think you said you were done? Did you say you were done? I don't know.
I just
Where
wanted
was-
to make a quick
Oh, you're done. Okay. Does anyone want to make a motion?
Yeah, I actually wanted to make a quick statement.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And yeah, thank you so much. And just what I wanted to say is exactly what the commissioner just stated, was that I believe that the proofs were put on the record, specifically that the subject site can balance the relief that we're requesting here tonight. And that is exactly what the case will ask of us. In addition, we have also eliminated a variance and taken in consideration the fact that the habitable floor area is less than what is permitted within the zone, and the elimination of the variance. I would imagine that we substantially outweigh any detriment that could be caused by this single-family home. Not to mention the fact that as of right now, the state is currently going through the fourth round obligations for affordable housing. Affordable housing doesn't just mean a unit, but also the bedroom count as well. And as we've heard multiple times from members of this public, bedroom count is very important to this township, especially considering that as the community grows, how do I say this appropriately? The parents of the parents want to stay in town, and sometimes they also need accommodations within this house. And that is the exact focal group that we're concentrating on. So I hope this board finds in the affirmative. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry I cut you off before.
You never apologize.
All right, someone want to make a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All right. Mr. Horn? Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Mr. Shah?
Yes.
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Ms. Yuan?
Yes.
Mr. Weissman?
Yes.
Ms. Khan votes yes. Mr. Bier?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Wish everybody happy holidays, happy New Year,
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
and adjourned. Motion to adjourn.